timeline is lit. All over, it's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over, it's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
This fucking timeline is lit. All over, it's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
What is up, chat? If you can believe it, it's a Thursday once again. I am Jack, and I am bringing you live to the Ciderhaus. For those of you who are unaware, the Ciderhaus Rules is a 1985 novel by American writer John Irving. The title refers to a list of rules the workers are supposed to follow. However, none of them can read, and thus remain unaware of the rules, which have been posted for years. Welcome to the Ciderhaus. I'm Jack, and that is a very fine cider you're not drinking. We have some great topics for you guys today, but as always, I am joined by Landon Tangwall.
Yes, sir. World champions, what's up?
That is not a green screen. That is not a green screen. That looks incredible almost.
It looks
Let
great.
me try and focus the camera on you.
Great brand recognition here, guys.
Yeah.
World champs, what's up? How we doing tonight? Hanging out for a little bit. Former Penn State football player Landon Tangwall, what's up?
Yep, and how have you been, Landon? It's been a while since the last show, like I think three weeks or so.
It's been a little bit. I've missed Ciderhaus severely. I miss shooting the shit with the boys. And you know, Jack, you and me, I always get really good topics. So I appreciate the work you guys put in, and all the everybody in the chat joining in, listening along.
What do you know about international soccer, huh?
Not much.
Yeah, that's what I'm repping today, man. Look at this jersey. It's a 1998 memorabilia from the World Cup. My brother has the cooler version of it that doesn't have all the other badges on it, but I got this one because it was a hand-me-down. I'm Mihai Shogor. How we doing?
Where was that? Do you know where the World Cup was that year?
98, I believe, was in America. The final was in the Rose Bowl.
Oh, that was probably good.
Yeah, Miss Diana Ross had the closing ceremony. How about that?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
John's not here yet.
Yep.
Yeah, John is somewhere. He's smoking a cigarette in the background. You can kind of see him.
He'll be here soon.
Right.
You can almost see him in me. I banished John because I have to leave for a little bit of dinner meeting later. I told John I can't smell like cigarettes. So, you know, unfortunate for the world champions to be in.
Somebody had to tell him. Somebody had to put their foot down.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but we're lucky to even have you, like for the time we have you, Landon. That being said, I'm going to get us started off with an icebreaker, and it has to do with morning routines. Landon probably knows where I'm going to be leading with this, but Mihai, how about you?
Jacking off?
But Mihai, how about you start us off with this? Like, when you wake up in the morning, what do you do first, typically?
Press the snooze button.
Okay. Yeah, how about you, Landon? Do you exercise? Like, what do you do?
I probably look at my phone or take a shit. Honestly, it could be it depends on what I eat the night before. If you constantly tune into Ciderhaus, I eat some pretty aggressive meals, and sometimes that can hit at 5 a.m. So I would say a combo of a toilet, really, realistically, probably most mornings.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I hit the snooze button probably about 2 or 3 times, as long as I can, and then it's a mad dash out the door, try and get to work on time. Yeah, but I needed that extra 15 minutes.
Yeah, for me,
you don't want to see me if I don't have that extra 15 minutes, Jack.
Yeah, for me, like
Jack.
I typically pull all-nighters, and
Wait, oh what?
You're having a sleepover?
No.
This is fourth grade.
No.
Are you drinking Mountain Dews?
I've been like really busy.
Doing the Dews, baby.
I've been really busy with my YouTube channel. So I've been like spending all-nighters editing, and typically I've been like oversleeping. So I got to work on that.
What do you do? What do you do in the daytime?
Probably come down here, just hang out.
My question is, why don't you just sleep and then do that stuff in the daytime?
I know. I need to work on my sleep schedule. But I guarantee you that this one guy, Ashton Hall, he has had, like, none of our schedules are like his. And he's been taking the internet over by storm. And like I said.
Wait, so that's what this guy is? I mean, I've seen pictures of him. I don't really know what's going on, though.
All right. Well, so this guy is being, like... I don't know if he's being admired or laughed at.
I think he's being laughed at, and people from college football teams, the NFL teams, to Jake Paul and everybody in between is basically recreating it, just making fun of him. And so that water sales, we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, so that's why I have a hot take about Saratoga water. I've been on Saratoga water for about 5 years now. And just recently, they've actually gone downhill. It was sold. It used to be a small company out of Saratoga, New York. And they sold to some big company, probably, I don't know, one of the 5 companies that owns like 9% of the food brands, probably. But it used to be every bottle was customly engraved, laser engraved, and it felt like rich people water when you held that bottle. It was just different. But now they switched over to stickers after they sold.
Yeah, I am not familiar with the corporate practices of big water, but let's get into this guy. Yeah, and just a quick thing. You need to keep in mind like the time it shows, because he's doing this at like around 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, that's crazy.
You think he goes back to bed after he posts this?
I don't know what.
Absolutely.
Or how do we know he's not lying? What if it's just like 9 o'clock at night?
That's probably that's what
There's way too much traffic at 4 in the morning. Listen to that.
So we're gonna be serious about the Lord's business.
What are those fucking things?
Nothing that helps.
Someone's coughing.
He's just wiping his face with a banana peel.
Oh my God, what a great time to walk in.
Wait, who brought him the bowl of water?
At least 10,000.
He has an assistant that brings him bowls of water?
As I got, hey, turn my mic on. Is it on?
It's on.
Oh, turn my headphones up then.
It's on.
I need some headphone volume.
Can you introduce John?
Oh yeah, John Moore is here, everybody. I thought
The headphones are that black box.
the black box.
And
The world champs go crazy.
Not
There's
the-
the
not the
black
mixer,
box
but-
behind that with all the dials on
the
it.
one that they're all plugged into, Jack.
Oh
No, keep going in front of you. Further to front of you.
I'm sorry.
Wrong piece of equipment. Totally different piece of equipment. Keep going.
So right here.
Yeah. I am probably the second one from the left is my guess. Can you start slowly turning it up? Slowly turn. Yeah.
There we go.
My question is, have they got to the part where he does the 1 minute long dive?
I'll reverse that just for you.
Because if you notice, he takes off from the ground. Wait, pause it. Oh, yeah.
Stop 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the air for a minute. That's my favorite part.
Go back a little bit. There we go.
5 minutes. isn't it?
7:35.
Oh, here's 5 minutes. This video is incredible. What's going on, chat?
I don't really understand. Why is that?
I got made fun of in the chat.
So
because
looking
I
at it,
told
bro, we
you to
gotta go
leave
ahead
for
and
the
get at
cigarettes.
least 10,000.
As they should have made fun of you.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you.
The part where he goes, I need at least 10,000, that's getting memed pretty hard as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he says it in a really high voice, too, and then he comes back.
What time? I don't understand. I have questions, but I don't even know why I have questions. What time do you think he goes to bed?
I have no idea.
Does he disclose that?
Well, like you said,
That chat
a
looks
lot of
weird.
this
Hold
seems
on.
Staged.
You guys keep talking.
A lot of this seems staged, Mihai. He's definitely getting more sleep off time, like off screen.
Or is he really doing that every day? Probably
Absolutely not. I don't think that was actually at that time that he put.
That's what
At
I'm
all.
saying. Especially, I used to live right in the middle of a city, and I never heard cars at 4 in the morning.
I guess it depends what city he's in. If he's in New York,
We got a bunch of Puerto Ricans around him, probably.
Yeah, but Landon, this guy's a former football star, right? Like, what's his backstory?
no, I wouldn't say star. I mean, I think he had like 5 carries for like 8 yards.
I think that
in college.
is that like saying like The Rock was a star football player.
Rock was a lot better than him, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rock was actually, he was started at the U, and I think, did he get to the league at all? I think they kind of like flared out.
I think he like tore his ACL or something.
Yeah, he
before.
started
That
at the
was-
U, though. No, this guy barely played at all at a shit university, so.
like St. Francis level. Do you even know what St. Francis is?
Yeah.
He ain't got no field strength.
Drop from, ooh. John.
God, you're wearing a lot of cologne.
I've been waiting for
Holy shit, are you wearing a lot of cologne?
Really?
You look like you just dived in that pool with that black guy, but the pool was fucking Ralph Lauren.
No, that Saratoga water was.
Nah, it ain't Ralph.
Brute.
It ain't Ralph.
It's brute.
I'll tell you what.
You putting brute
It's
on?
some designer shit right here, buddy.
So you would say he's more popular now than he ever was as a football player, Landon?
Absolutely.
He looks like he wore one of those belly shirts when he played football.
I don't think he was that big. It's like a
But he was
post-football
definitely that gay.
I do love Saratoga water though.
Is he peck flexing?
Jack, can we get to the Saratoga sales?
All right.
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, so as Landon has been saying, this guy is sponsored by Saratoga Waters, and coincidentally,
Microphone, Jack.
the
Microphone moves.
Saratoga spring water sales are surging.
He's got a weird thing going on with his one pec muscle. It's like a hole in it. Did you see that weird shit?
David, I see you. David's on my ass, man.
Is that his name? Who's David? Oh, in
David
the chat.
We're
Ollerkamp.
talking to the chat.
Yeah, well, speaking of,
He
why
was the
don't
one
you,
that made
why
fun
don't
of
you
me.
pull up the chat, Jack? 'Cause we never even said hi to them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I gotta hit these salts to get that fucking.
What is up?
Oh wait, hold on. Actually,
Abercrombie.
wait, Jack, go back to John real quick.
I was actually thought about running in here and just tackling.
Go back. I need to make a stipulation here. I need to actually give you fair warning. I found the actual box that came in, and it has more instructions on it than is given on the bottle.
Does it say "Don't sniff
It
this"?
says, "Do not directly inhale. You're only supposed to waft it towards you."
That checks out.
I'm so glad to hear that, Jack. Thanks for highlighting me while Mihai's talking. That makes excellent programming.
All right.
Yeah, and now we're going to the chat. How we doing, chat? Marie LaRue, Williams channel, Rock the Casbah.
Oh,
Couple normal faces. Did you just smell it?
yeah, I went directly into it. I don't follow instructions. I'm a rebel. Oh, kind of regretting it.
And you said that stuff stronger than the stuff you had at football?
Way stronger. We used to do it before we lifted him. Every single drive, I would take smelling salts, but nothing. Mihai brought it in. I asked John to have some, and it was just straight up awful. P. Diddy ordered Fitty Mini. Yep, that checks out.
Fitty me.
WWE wrestlers blame each other as less. And then good morning. I guess good evening, huh? Well, could be either.
Good evening.
Good evening.
It's morning for that guy. It might not actually be, but he's saying it is.
How many times you... Never mind. All right, let's get into this.
Yeah, yeah, but since he has a sponsor, do you have anything you'd like to announce, John? Do you have any sponsors lined up or coming down?
Not officially yet.
Okay.
The fuck was that, Jack?
Yeah, we might have a Ciderhaus sponsor, I think, for like a little while anyway.
Okay. But yeah, if you would like to sponsor us, be sure to reach out to us.
There you go. I like that.
It's a appealing pitch.
Yeah. But getting into
You're gonna get some
current
like
news.
deep dark web sponsorships, Jack, because that's what you're gonna get.
Jack, what would you do for a sponsorship?
It's gonna be sponsored by List Crawler.
I don't know. Like, would I sell my soul for a sponsorship? It depends on the sponsor, I guess.
Is there a apparel? Is there an apparel company that sponsors prostitute killers?
Abercrombie and Fitch. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, getting into some more like current news or like some serious topics, we have the Signal chat leak.
Getting into some serious topics. It's fucking Will Ferrell from Anchorman.
It was Anchorman.
I don't mean to step on your groove here, Jack, but would it be too much to ask for if we go World Cup first while we got Landon here, the sports guy?
Oh, the World Cup?
Ooh.
Okay, sure. Let's see.
I know that the chat is not going to like this. They don't like soccer. You're going to call me gay. I came in here wearing a soccer jersey for this moment because I wanted to show that I really actually care. And I'm doing you a service, whether you like to admit it or not. You have to face the reality that almost just over a year, the World Cup, the biggest sports tournament in all of the world, the biggest spectacle in the entire world, is coming to America. And I need to let you know that our team sucks. And we are really,
Are we even in it?
really bad. We automatically qualify because we are the host.
It's a tricky strategy.
But we are really, really bad. There's been some recent results, some new coaching, and I'm going to fill you in on it all. But here we are. This is 2026 World Cup. You can scroll down a little bit here, Jack.
Yeah.
Coming here into America. It's actually hosted in 3 countries, so United States, Mexico, and Canada.
What?
We'll see how the relations are in a year and how that goes.
Why?
FIFA likes money, And so they made it bigger with more teams so they could make
there's more teams
money.
now?
Yeah.
You know where
Yeah.
in Canada?
Montreal and Toronto.
Interesting.
And there's only like 4 or 5 games played in Mexico and Canada. The rest of them are all played in America, including the final, which is in MetLife Stadium. Like arguably the worst stadium we could have put forward for the final to be in. It doesn't even have real grass.
A lot of torn ACLs on that turf.
Yeah, it doesn't even have fucking grass. But keep scrolling down. And then right there, previous expansion format. So we're going from... So it's to 48 teams now as opposed to the regular 32. And then...
Oh, shit, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's adding a whole nother round, which is crazy. It used to go straight from the group stage to the round of 16. Now it goes to the round of 32, then round of 16.
I think Jack just he got zoned out and started watching a YouTube video.
I'm just getting some leaks started up.
Yeah, I hear you. You're doing the right thing. You keep scrolling down, though. We were supposed to get the last World Cup in 2022 until Qatar put their greedy little oil hands in FIFA's pockets and stole it from us. And Donald Trump was really angry about that in his first term, so he basically forced FIFA to give us the next World Cup. And that was also an opportunity for them to do this whole thing where they put it in an entire continent and grow
Who
it.
voted none of the bids?
Iran, probably.
Canada, Mexico.
Yeah, well, what are some consequences if we don't do well in FIFA?
Why did Brazil vote for Morocco?
They probably got paid to do so, would be my best guess.
Fair point, yeah.
There's actually not, like, you think the government's corrupt? FIFA is by far the most.
That's what
That
wasn't
is.
there a big thing that came out a couple years ago?
Yeah, no,
about
so that's the Qatar World Cup. They got busted by taking, like, it had never been done before. 1, a World Cup in a desert. 2, a World Cup in a country that only has like 500,000 people living it in one city. It's not like, and they also have like always tried to bring it to countries that have like history in the game. My favorite one in my lifetime, at least, was 2014. It was in Brazil, and that was just. Also, 2010 South Africa was awesome because they had the horns then. If you remember
You remember that game?
That was terrible.
FIFA 13?
Yeah.
FIFA 13
yeah,
was a great
FIFA
game.
13
The
that might be the
Vesuvulas?
best FIFA. Yeah, the Vuvuzela.
Vuvuzuela, right?
Those things
Yeah,
suck, dude.
between the three of us, I think we
I had
got
a
it.
migraine
Yeah.
the whole time.
No, they were pretty sweet though. I mean, it's at least iconic. That's the first thing you think of when you think of 2010 World Cup is the Venezuela.
Well, what kind of corruption are we talking about, Mihai? Like, are there
Bribery.
roid usage or anything like that?
By players, unless you're in Russia, no.
Okay.
But that was a big part of the 2018 World Cup was in Russia, and then afterwards, all their players got busted for using steroids, and they had miraculously made it to the quarterfinals. I think maybe even the quarterfinals, which is further than they ever made it before. And sort of like when they hosted Olympics, like all of a sudden their team does really well. It's because they're all doing steroids. They're on that Russian gas. If you remember that episode of
The
Ciderhaus.
Russian
Yeah.
gas.
They're on the Russian gas. But you can go so. The problem with United States soccer is the culture within American soccer. I want to show you some examples of what good soccer culture looks like first. So Jack, you can pull up the first YouTube video.
Okay. This should be it.
Which one is this actually though, real quick? Yep. So this is Gonzalo Higuain, 5 years ago, probably the best striker in the world, potentially, questionably, potentially. And this is what they would do every time he would score. I just want you to just soak this in. Turn the volume up a little bit, Jack. Let the people hear it. Maybe not all the way.
Oh, still more. 6 times.
Wait for this one. Next one. Wait. Get you going. That's in Italy. So Italy is of the top 5 leagues, which are England, Italy, France, Germany, and Spain. Italy is probably the worst these days, but they passionate fans nonetheless. They won the World Cup in
Why the fuck is that recommending
2006?
Peytonio Meningus?
It's a good question.
That's random.
That is a good question.
Want to see my face with my porn stash right there?
Unrelated, but this is a crazy video. These two guys in South Africa get like jumped.
Ah, that is a crazy video.
Yeah, but there's another link you have, Mihai.
Yeah. So you can go to the next one. The next one is in England.
It's like a really small stadium.
Yeah, they are. And they're all like in the middle of the town. When he scores a volley, oh, when he scores it.
You know, this is really cool. We know this is cool. NFL's hardest hits, and you watch Ray Lewis. You watch Ray Lewis take someone's spine and bend it in half.
Well, I'll tell you want to know what's really not fucking cool? Well, actually, you finish this one.
Nobody special. Am I the only one wondering if this is a giant head fake? $5.
Just wait. So this chant is about Luis Suarez by Liverpool fans admiring him. He left Liverpool, but I still love him. If you go to the next video, that is Man United fans, who is Liverpool's biggest rival, and this was their chant for Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez famous for biting multiple people in multiple different ways. Yes.
Okay.
That's that one. Now, let me show you the problem with American soccer culture. Go to the final YouTube video, Jack.
It says the next one is Mexican chant. Do you want to do?
Oh, we can do that one too. So this is an outlaw chant, and you can actually see how fucking gay our little players are because it's against the United States, and they bitch up a storm.
This can't be reached.
It's banned. What? Long story short, they go, puto! Every time they kick a goal kick, and that means faggot.
Okay.
And the game got ended early because they refused to stop doing it, which that is the kind of culture we need. Fans don't give a shit. Now, this is MLS.
This guy looks like a gentleman.
And I think you'll quickly realize what we're lacking.
Good cameras, number one.
A fucking potato this was filmed on.
Come on, Seattle!
The crowd isn't on his side.
Fight and win!
I don't like him.
I mean, I think football culture, European, you know, it's like a high school student section, but just way bigger. That's the energy they have.
That's a good way to put it.
Once you get to pro sports or even college, we just don't have that type of want to be like that crazy.
No, and it's definitely like the closest thing we have to like the Premier League being a part of their community is college football. But even that's becoming so much like a big money business where it's less about the community around it and more about the national brand and identity.
Beaver Stadium whiteout.
Yeah, Beaver Stadium whiteout is the closest thing we might have, honest.
What do some of the comments say?
All right. Real quick, Jack, before we move on, can I get 30 seconds? NFL's hardest hits ever. Real quick, just into YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
Just pop that in there. You're going to watch. I mean,
Tom Brady getting mauled in the early 2000s.
This is what I looked up every single day after school getting home.
Most vicious hits in NFL history. Is that the one?
Yeah, let's go with that one. Sure.
Second and 12.
All right. That's all right.
Ever?
Nah, I need to see. This needs to be. I think we need an older one, Jack.
It looks like when Landon and I played two-hand touch together.
That is. I would.
Hardest hits in NFL history.
Keep going. 9 years ago, highlight.
56 million views.
Yep, that's the one we want. Yep.
Okay.
That looks fairly hard. Oh,
Okay, that hurts.
Mute it, Jack. Mute it.
This one's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Imagine just.
I remember that one
Imagine
too.
just ending up on your head for no reason.
I think that was the first Big Ten championship game.
Oh, God.
Damn.
Ooh,
That's high school.
high school or is that practice?
Oh my God.
No, I get it. I
Reggie
agree.
Bush has to
like
be on
this is
here.
more entertaining to watch for the American mind.
Watch this one.
I totally get
It
that.
has. I just. Oh God! You think he threw up after that?
I don't come here with the argument to you that you should be watching soccer instead of football or football instead of football.
I mean, there's no hits like this anymore. They don't do this. Bow.
My point
breaking down
my point to you that I'm trying to make is like we need to come to the reality that we're gonna have to watch our team fucking suck in front of our entire country, and no American wants to see America suck at anything.
You don't have to watch it.
Yeah, controversial.
You're gonna have to. It's gonna be everywhere. Like you're not gonna have a choice. It is a spectacle. It is the biggest event in the world.
Can I ask you a controversial question, Landon, as a football player?
What you got, Jack?
Would you say that college football is more or like a high school football, both are more entertaining than professional football because you see more out there plays?
I find it a lot more entertaining. I think, well, I mean, now a lot of these collegiate athletes, and especially in football, are getting paid, the stars, millions and millions of dollars. I would say I think that's a misconception that everybody's getting paid that much. A lot of guys, I mean, it's still nice. They probably make $100K, which is a lot of fucking money. But nonetheless, I think college football, they're just trying to get to the league. There's a lot more on the table. There's the kind of the community aspect like we have here at like Penn State. and other places like, Alabama, Ohio State. And, there's the culture of having went to a school versus just being a fan of an NFL team. Very different.
Yeah.
The atmosphere in college football games isn't even close. NFL games are not even close to college football games as far as the atmosphere. The fans just aren't as wild. And the stadiums are way bigger in college football, too. There's no NFL stadium that's 100K, so
Yeah.
we got a couple in college.
Almost. There was for a little bit. Wasn't FedEx over?
Yeah, maybe it was for a little bit, but I don't think there is a current one because they just don't really need it.
Do they have a band still?
Oh,
The
man.
Commanders?
I don't know about all that. Don't call them that. Say their name.
The Redskins.
Say it, John. Yeah.
Well,
Do you guys
the
know about-
actual Native Americans want to bring
You
the
want to
name
fight
back.
me, so you're
wanna
starting to
fuck-
literally sexually molest me.
No,
You
I'm
wanna
starting to
fight
just.
so
I'm
bad.
just kind of roughing up, John. I just grab him kind of by the shoulder.
Was it a day or two ago? I think you were standing there and you just were staring at me and you're just like, I want to fucking fight you.
I've been waiting until we get. I was gonna say something, but it sounded pretty good.
We have
I was gonna say a wrestling match. So I could,
I was there too. I was there too. I said it's not going to be that much of a fight. All I had to do is sit on him. And
My problem is, see, there was a time where if I had been around your age, I would just run away and you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Landon, I'm going to do to you.
But now I can't fucking run anymore.
I'm going to do to you what Hendrickson did to Gable Stevens.
oh, that was a good one. I doubt. Do we have any NCAA wrestle watchers in here? Because the championship
Actually
this
was kinda
past
crazy.
Saturday was pretty wild.
That was unreal. I was sitting there with my phone at the Blake Shelton concert, showing it to your boy Tyler Warren behind me. I was like, "Yo, man, Gable Stevenson just lost, bro." He said,
Oh.
no, I'm just kidding. He actually is the one that
Any
told
wrestling
me.
fans in the chat?
John's making a movie. Sorry.
Yeah, what's happening?
It's about Redskins
Yes, it is.
and Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur is starring in Killer Whale. We have breaking news. He is the whale.
Cenk is the whale.
Dustin Harris, OMG, sank from.
Who did somebody, what's Gorlock the Destroyer? Is that their name?
Can we get her in
Yeah,
here?
we should get
I don't know
her.
if it's her, but
She would be a good whale.
OMG.
Oh my gosh, I know who you're talking about, yeah.
Men and women shouldn't compete in the same spirits in college. He's fine with 18 and younger having men invade women's sports.
Where are we
That's fucking
reading?
dumb. So he's touching upon the
Oh.
issue of like trans people in.
Wait, Cenk went out of his way to say, I'm okay with it.
Shank has actually come a lot more based in the past couple of years. I mean, he's still awful, but it's actually he's come slightly to an okay side.
because
Well, he's in the
Gulf
business.
Coast man of the
Well, he
Gulf
didn't-
Coast
he-
of...
he
you
wanted to
keep
make
changing
money.
your name. No, that's it.
yeah, it's because
Some-
leftists keep on moving further to the left.
Were you
That's why
talking to your
it's fun-based.
goddamn microphone, you son of a bitch?
I am. Like, what was?
You don't hear the difference between this and this?
Jack, are you saying that the left is just moving further and further to
Jack,
the left?
get intimate with
Yes.
that thing.
Yeah.
Fucking put your mouth on it.
Kiss
Jack.
it.
Oh, it's a good thing the camera's not on right now.
Landon is becoming increasingly more violent and gay, and it
No,
is the
so-
scariest thing I've ever
Yeah.
dealt with.
I was going to say, we have a group chat.
I don't know if to guard my face or my asshole.
We have a group chat, and every once in a while, these guys will send in things they want to buy for the studio. Next week, Landon's just going to send in like a full-on octagon. Ask if we can put this in the middle.
Dude, that's how we settle the arguments. We just
Found
go
this
there.
on Amazon. What do you guys think?
They were like, we need storage, we need a chair, and Landon's like, we need a gym.
Yeah. What about a full
body-
exercise machine?
We did what was that 1990s gym that they sold the shit out of? Bowflex.
Yeah, Bowflex.
You want a Bowflex in here? Do you even know what that is?
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. Don't screen grab.
He's going hammer down, man.
Screenshots there. Yeah, Thor's hammer.
Oh, man.
I know Shank's definitely. I mean, he's not actually based, but I was just saying he was moving more away from the far left where he was.
Yeah, that's definitely true of Anna Kasparian because she was actually a victim of a crime, and everyone on her side downplayed it because it went against their narratives.
Well, I think they're in the business of making money, and they see what is going on to the rest of liberal media right now, and they're all losing money. So I guess it's a smart move by them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was it, 27%, 27, 26, 20, 29, something like that? The latest poll on
favorable, yeah.
Democrats favor
It was like
favorability
26 or 9.
I
rating.
s-
I think it's 26%.
I saw one. It was like 25% of Democratic voters think that the party's not far left enough. Another like 28.
So fucking crazy.
Another 28% think that they're right now where they're at is good as far as being too far left. So that means a plurality of Democratic voters think they're either good enough where they are far to the left or not far enough to the left. They're fucked. Like
Yeah.
the Democratic Party is
They've
fucked.
learned nothing from the last election. But yeah, let's move on. Do you guys want to move on to the signal leaks?
Let's do it,
We
Jack.
could do it, yeah.
No, I don't.
Pull the
Don't-
trigger.
What do you want to talk about instead?
I don't know. I'm actually struggling without cigarettes.
The
right
hooker
now.
in
I
your
can't-
closet, Jack.
I can't focus.
All right, I'm leaving in.
Get some snuff.
I do. I did. Yeah.
You got like 10 minutes. I'm out.
All right.
I might just fucking eat this shit. I need nicotine.
You think you got a problem?
Yes.
Good. We all do. Everybody's got a fucking problem.
Thank you for that uplifting.
For those of
encouragement.
you who have been living under a rock, there has been a major military controversy in regards to the Trump administration. This guy, Jeffrey Goldberg, was unintentionally added to a top-level military group chat on Signal, and I'll let him explain once I unmute him.
Congratulatory texts, including emojis, fist emojis, fire emojis, American flag emojis with each other, so
sounds like a pretty fucking good chat.
That's the key part.
This is possibly, unbelievably, the
This
leaders
guy
of the
is
United
so
States
proud of himself.
discussing this on my messaging app.
And just, can you give us a sense of your reaction in that moment that you realize you are that fly on the wall in this
I've never seen
very
someone
critical
look so
conversation?
pleased with themselves.
Honestly, my reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the United States national security system, which is to say, it's almost automatically true that if the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic is being given access to this kind of information, weapons systems and packages and timing and weather in Yemen and all kinds of information about sequencing of particular events, then obviously there's a security breach. What is in the public interest is to know that the secretaries of defense and state and Treasury and the CIA director and the director of national intelligence and the national security advisor and the vice
John,
president
what is your
are
P.O.
all
box?
talking
I got
on an app
nicotine
that you can
lozenges I
download
want to
on
send
your
you.
phones.
It's too
And they're not
strong
just
for
talking
me.
about, hey, what time is it? What
I don't
time
know
should
that we
get
have
dinner
a P.O.,
tonight?
although I
Or
guess
when is
the,
that meeting tomorrow?
we got a
They're actually
mailbox out
talking
there.
about
You could send them to the
substantive
studio.
issues relating to kinetic action directed against America's enemies.
Yeah.
My gaydar is going off. What about you guys?
Yeah, I
Little bit.
I do not like.
I'm so straight, I don't even have a gate.
Yeah, so
I know.
For those
You
of
get
you
you
who
do this
don't-
long enough, you'll get a good one.
For those of you who don't know anything about this guy, he was the one that peddled that fake story, that Trump called veterans at a graveyard suckers and losers. That has never been backed up by anything. Nobody has actually come forward and actually verified that he said that. But
Talking about all those good men that died in World War I.
and more wars, potentially, like according to him, his sources. Lord of the Ree, he looks like he's received a lot of packages.
What? So didn't they actually release the full chat now? Is that
He did later after they challenged him on saying after they said actually there was nothing classified.
so?
in that
Was
chat.
there? I haven't seen this yet.
Let's see. What was in the group chat?
I thought I saw that it turned out it was not really anything, which makes me believe that this was a leak hunt. That they knew somebody corrupt was going to add them.
So, full Signal text chain has been released. There's nothing in it but the pros and cons of striking now versus waiting a month. It's not war plans. It's not classified info. It's a conversation. And nice to see cabinet members and staffers hashing out the best way to move forward. I also love that JD Vance cannot stand Europe. All right. So, can't see anything.
You could copy that tweet link into your plain internet link if you want to see it. But yeah, I did see something about this briefly. I don't know if you guys saw it, but like you're gonna have trouble doing it in the X page window.
I can just open it in a new tab.
Wait, go-
right? The images.
Open it, copy the
Who's
URL.
Wait, question real quick though. Whose phone is this screenshot from? Do we know?
It's from Goldberg.
So Michael Waltz did add him to the group.
It sure looks like it from that shot.
Yeah. So you want me to copy and paste this and add it to the?
If you want to be able to click one of those so that you see the whole thing,
Yep.
just copy the X link, paste it in your plain internet scene, and then you should be able to do that.
All right. Hold on.
Don't resize the windows or anything. Lord of the Ree, Goldberg was IDF. Oh, yeah, I saw that too. Israel Defense Forces, and spent some time as a prison guard where alleged sexual assault happened. I believe it. Also look into the NPR lady who's on the Signal board. Shocker.
Yep, I have links for her that we'll get into later.
So now if you switch the scene to your full screen internet.
I'm adding them.
Oh, I thought looks like you had it.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, so right here you will see that Michael Waltz was the one that added him to the group. So this is something that a lot of people have been like talking about. Like, why did they even have Signal in the first place? But it turns out the Biden administration had it before. It turns out the Biden administration had it before. Like, I'm glad you can hear it now, John. Now let's talk about something.
Why are you acting like it doesn't matter? You're like, fuck you,
it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not even. They can imagine my face.
It's fine. But another thing that needs to be brought.
Jack, I'm sorry.
Another thing that needs to be,
acknowledge his apology.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, John. Another thing
we're human beings here, Jack.
Another thing that needs to be brought up is that Mike Waltz kind of comes across as a boomer. He may have added Goldberg by accident, but something that's really bothering me and other people is why did he even have Goldberg in his contact list at all? Like this anti-Trump, like he's not like an impartial journalist or anything. He's a very, very partisan anti-Trump reporter.
I don't understand. It would be one thing if you shared a last name with somebody who was in the administration or like in that group chat, but how I don't know. Unless you add by phone number and his phone number was like one off somebody else that was supposed to be in there.
Yeah, but this is something that I really liked and I think should be talked about more. JD Vance, team, I am out for the day doing an economic event in Michigan, but I think we are making a mistake. 3% of U.S. trade runs through the Suez. 40% of European trade does. There is a real risk that the public doesn't understand this or why it's necessary. The strongest reason to do this is, as POTUS said, to send a message. But I am not sure the president is aware how inconsistent this is with his message on Europe right now. There's a further risk that we see a moderate to severe spike in oil prices. I am willing to support the consensus of the team and keep these concerns to myself, but there is a strong argument for delaying this a month during the messaging work on why this matters, seeing where the economy is, etc. So I think this is worth mentioning because JD Vance is vocally critical of Europe, but even now we see that he's vocally critical of Europe in private. So I think that it makes my opinion of him go up, frankly.
Very honest.
Yeah.
He's raw from the heart.
Saying what he means.
I don't know, but what do you guys think? Do you think that this is as big of a scandal that the mainstream media is making it out to be, or do you think people will forget about this in like a month?
I can't believe it's real. I'm struggling to wrap my head around this.
I mean, it was confirmed, right?
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's got to be like a rat somewhere that.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Like I don't think this was a natural thing or like a
because
a
how
mistake.
would he have been? How would that person been added?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no way. Someone did that on purpose. Like, obviously, I feel like there's no way.
It is weird they. What are you fucking been doing over there?
That noise, like it sounded like the mic actually
really
died.
Yeah. It dropped off.
Yeah.
Watching you attempt to do this is fucking incredible, though.
Yeah.
You need some help, buddy?
No, that's all right. I want to hold it like this. It's actually better like this.
I'm worried about mine falling.
It's actually better like this right now. I don't want to sit back. Thanks, John.
Yeah, but I feel as though like if we're looking at rats, I think we found him. Mike Waltz. Michael Waltz's Venmo is public and it's full of journalists.
Wow, this guy.
Wow.
This guy. How does he still have a job, honestly?
Yeah, like and it's either people are saying that it's either him or this lawyer named Alex Wong. I don't really know anything about that guy, but yeah.
Any relation to Susie?
Susie Wong? Not to my knowledge. Yeah, but a lot of people yeah, so yeah, so again, I think to be clear, I don't think people are going to care about this in like a month because there's the scandal led to zero
Time
deaths.
out. Read that author of the article's name. Daniel Boguslaw.
Boguslaw? He's bogus?
Something tells me this isn't a real article.
Is everything about this fake?
Prospect.org.
Bogus
That'd
law.
be a sweet name for a lawyer.
No, I mean, I saw a decent amount about this. I don't know. I can't necessarily confirm it.
It feels like, I mean, I do think it's a...
No, I've seen the Venmo. I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty sure this is legit. I saw someone on Twitter scrolling through the Venmo payments. I mean, you couldn't see the money, but you could see who paid him, and it was obvious it was journalists. So.
They were paying him. You're saying?
Yeah.
Journalists would, so he's like a source. Yeah. Okay. Hilarious.
From Daniel Bodeslaw. That's fascinating.
It's a breach, and I'm of the idea if it was, at the end of the day, I'm of the even if you're not in the wrong here, it did get leaked, and you just have to apologize and say sorry, move on. Americans love second chances, so sure, just apologize, and move on. Like even if he did sell them out, it's still same thing on a football team for me. The head coach, you got to take responsibility because it is no matter what happens, even if some bullshit. If your star player, gets charged up for a rape, you still gotta handle that.
You're making the other players look bad.
Yeah,
it's the Nick Saban.
How would you explain things, Landon, if you didn't get to use football as a metaphor?
No,
I'm the type of guy.
I feel like we're like talking about World War II, and you're like, so Patton is like your coach, okay?
Yeah.
And what you need is some good captains. And you need them to train up your players. And then we're like, okay, that's great. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about a movie. And you're like, so the director's like a coach, okay?
Anybody,
and
John,
those actors are like your players?
No, I feel like he just gave me the Nick Saban, Henry Ruggs speech. Like, if somebody would have taken his keys away, he probably wouldn't have liked it. He probably wouldn't have thought much about you at the time. But would he be in a better place now? Ask yourself that question.
Yeah. It's the truth. And I'm the type of guy in the comments, I say, explain in NFL terms or explain in
Give me this in NBA terms.
I need to get you into a true rage so that I can sucker punch you when you come at me. That's my only chance.
Yeah, but I'm
you got to watch out. He carries sand in his pocket everywhere he
I have
goes.
fucking like a shitty samurai movie.
Pull out a soccer rocks just over that.
Yeah, and look, you're gonna have a lot of leftists and Dems calling for the resignation of Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, Donald Trump himself, because of course they'll say that. But I do think that there is a legitimate case to ask for Trump to fire Mike Waltz, because I think he's proven himself to be a liability. And even though this didn't lead to any disaster, the military success, the military strike was actually a success. The strike on the Houthis, that was successful. But who's to say?
Well, yeah, they're wearing flip flops in the middle of a desert, and we have billion-dollar planes.
Would it be weird to say that I kind of like the Houthis? I kind of respect them.
Is there something in your wildest fantasies, you're like,
I just
I could do that?
If I so when Alexander the Great met Diogenes, he said, if I were not Alexander, I should like to be Diogenes. If I were not John Ward, I wouldn't mind being a Houthi. Fucking running around, blowing shit up all the time. You don't have no idea. What do you think their understanding of the modern world is? I feel like they ain't looking at the internet.
Somewhere between...
they're just riding a camel, and then some machine beyond their understanding flies overhead and sails down, and they're like, I just want to shoot rockets at that.
Oh yeah, I remember. To them, we are the stormtroopers.
I remember this documentary I saw once of.
What do you think the Houthis are doing right now?
I saw this one documentary in Africa of some workers cultivating cocoa beans, and they were giving chocolate bars that they've never seen before.
Oh yeah,
it's so alien to them.
Dude, imagine getting handed a chocolate bar for the first time right now.
Yeah, imagine how much they shit after that.
Yeah, they must be looking at it wondering where the cocoa beans are.
I think the mirror's the crazier one. Have you ever seen kids in very poor places and they see themselves for the first time? I think that's even crazier.
That is wild to think about.
Lord of the Ree, you have to admire their temerity.
I have to think about that though. Imagine medieval times, nobody knew what they looked like.
I'm gonna get kind of just categorized for this, but I'm gonna need the definition of that word there at the end.
Yeah, I think that's why he's using it in the first place.
Temerity.
Temerity. You wanted me to say it. Fuck you, John.
He's so mad. I'm getting afraid. I'm becoming afraid.
John's feared for his life.
Still mostly for my lower GI tract. I'm feeling the gay threat is more dangerous than the violent
you do
threat.
have to,
excessive confidence or boldness.
See, that's why I like him.
I'm gonna use
I am just like that. That's me. I'm a Houthi.
I'm going to use that on my next podcast. I'm using that.
Temerity.
That's a SAT word right there. Buddy.
That's a SAT. How'd you do on your SAT? You
didn't have to take them. Didn't have to. Actually, I'm not going to lie. I did have to take it originally, and then COVID happened, and they said that no colleges for a long time.
You're right.
Taking SAT course. SAT.
Shit.
Yeah. So
I was
you didn't
wondering
have
if
to
it's
do that.
because you were a recruit, you didn't have to take it.
Yeah.
No, you do. You still have to get into the school. They'll just accept you no matter what your high school grades are. You basically flunk out of high school.
Yeah, but John, you bring up an interesting point regarding the Houthis. Like, I don't necessarily think they're our friends, but I don't know if they're like. There's a dispute on whether or not they are our responsibility and not someone like, say, Europe's, for instance.
It does kind of feel like maybe Saudi Arabia should be dealing with them.
It is.
It'd be like if a bunch of dudes in Boston were launching missiles at like ships.
No, I'm thinking more of like the modern day retelling of Dances with Wolves. I think you are Dancing with Wolves.
Which one is that? Is that Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Is he cool? I don't really remember.
Great. He's cool as shit, dude.
Oh, so you're complimenting me?
Tatanka. You go up to the
I know that. That's the only part I remember.
You go up to the Houthis and go, Tatanka.
Yeah, but getting back to Jeff Goldberg, this is what the CIA director...
I'm going to start calling him the Meathies.
Had to say on it.
The John Thies.
Atlantic article and about things that were said and that could have happened instead of a focus on what did happen. So my responsibility as CIA director, one of its responsibilities is to kill terrorists. And that's exactly what I did along with President Trump's excellent national security team. That's
Seems
what
tough.
we should be focused on. With regard to that article, I also would appreciate the opportunity to relay the fact that yesterday I spent 4 hours answering questions from senators as a result of that article that were intimating that I transmitted classified information because there were hidden messages. Those messages were revealed today and revealed that I did not transmit classified information and that the reporter, who I don't know, I think intentionally intended it to indicate that. That reporter also indicated that I had released the name of an undercover CIA operative in that signal chain. In fact, I had released the name of my chief of staff, who is not operating undercover. That was deliberately false and misleading, and I appreciate the opportunity to reflect that my answers haven't changed. I used an appropriate channel to communicate sensitive information. It was permissible to do so. I didn't transfer any classified information. And at the end of the day, what is most important is that the mission was a remarkable success, is what everyone should be focused on here, because that's what did happen, not what possibly could have happened.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that a Trump scandal, that, like the media is so desperate for a Trump scandal that they're focusing on something that had potential for something to go wrong, and instead of focusing on like
it was the best piece of dirt they've got so far.
Yeah, instead of focusing on a scandal like the Biden administration and their botched Afghanistan withdrawal, like 13 Americans actually died in that situation. No Americans died in this situation. Yeah, but a court case has been filed, and can you guess
Jack,
who
this is an unrelated question, but I want to get to the deeper question of who you are.
Who I am?
Yeah, I want to know about your personality real quick.
I'm a man of many faces. I change my personality on a whim.
I don't know if I agree with that.
What? Jack,
I think you are 100% of the time laser focused on where the next prostitute is and how you're going to kill her.
That's what I was going to say. Jack, how long was the drive from your home here?
8 hours.
How many prostitutes along the way? That's what I was saying.
I knew it was coming.
We were both going that way.
He rode with his thumb out the window the whole time.
He has his thumb out the window. That's incredible.
Nobody hitchhikes anymore.
You just stop like, hey, you trying to hitchhike? Imagine somebody.
You need a ride, right?
Imagine someone pulling up to you and be like, yeah, you need a ride. You trying to hitchhike?
Public trust in each other. Our public trust in each other is too low. Like, we can't hitchhike anymore.
Why is that, Jack?
Because serial killers.
Jack, I think
it's really hard to be a serial
responsible
killer.
for the majority of that? Jack, if you were gonna be a serial killer now, how would you do it? Don't answer that.
I don't know.
Don't answer. Yes,
No, I honestly don't know.
Not how have you already done it. Don't reveal any of the ways that work.
You'd have to kill random people. I mean, that's number one. I think you're in a tough place now with all the
I
technology.
didn't actually mean to talk about this, but there was that that dude who killed all those college girls.
I don't know. There are a lot of people who
Good point, actually.
No,
Somewhat
didn't he get
recent-
arrested in PA?
Yeah.
Wait,
Or wasn't he
that was a
from PA?
different thing.
Didn't he kill girls in PA?
Maybe he did get
And
arrested.
he got arrested out west
What
somewhere?
was that guy's name?
I can picture his face, but I don't know.
But anyway, he did everything perfectly, and they just satellite tracked him somehow. They did something probably illegal.
If you have a phone, I mean, it's impossible.
I don't. There's a term called parallel construction where they'll use some NSA voodoo to track you down, and then they'll invent how they found. Like, an officer was on his break in the porta potty, and he noticed a thumbprint under the urine, and so he was like, that looks like the suspect, and they tested it, and sure enough, we caught him. It's like, that's not what really happened. There's no fucking way.
We got a Brian Kohlberger.
Well,
yeah, that's his name.
Well, to change the topic...
Yeah, he looked like a Dennis from Always Sunny.
Yeah. Well, to change the topic from crimes that actually happened, let's discuss crimes that didn't happen. So, let's talk...
It's actually a really funny point, Jack. Yeah, he's like, look at all this shit that didn't happen but might have. Ooh. Memology.
Meme anthropology. Dozens.
Oh, I saw this, yeah.
Dozens.
Allentown.
Well, we're living here in Allentown.
They really gave their viewers a lot of time to read that. You got it? You bouncing? Enjoy your dinner, buddy.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Right.
Fight and win!
Have a good one, Landon.
How many dinners is this for you?
Thank you,
tonight?
guys.
Is this your second
I've
dinner?
been fasting a lot. I'm going to go eat the biggest steak I can find on the menu. I'm going to order it, and I'm going to kill it and eat it with probably some type of bourbon, maybe.
Ooh.
Feeling like a man tonight. No more Bud Light for me.
Feeling like a man, then why'd you say all that gay shit?
Because I'm
going to find the biggest piece of meat, and I'm going to get it raw right in my mouth, and I'm going to chew it.
John wants me to...
All right, chat. Say goodbye to Landon.
So afraid of you right now.
Bye, guys.
Thank God I'm sitting on something.
What?
Oh, fuck, dude. Lock that fucking closet door. The midget's about to get out. Lock that fucking closet door on your way out. Don't let him out.
All right.
Fucker. Keeps trying to get out.
Getting back to the YouTube video.
Black lives are under attack. What do we do?
A call for action and fight for change.
We will not be silenced.
Community members and leaders made their voices heard in front of Allentown City Hall Monday afternoon.
Just to think that people have to go to work in fear.
Don't worry, Telemundo's there.
Since Friday, Allentown police continue to investigate an item resembling a noose found on a city employee's desk.
This egregious act is not just an affront to one individual, but it is an attack on the entire community.
Several spoke during a rally, calling for transparency, prevention, and an immediate federal investigation among a list of demands. This incident, community members note, is not the first racial discrimination issue City Hall has dealt with. Josie Lopez is a close friend of the victim.
They're always a community leader, always pushing for equality. They might be bruised right now, but they are not broken.
The victim is not being named due to safety concerns.
Our colleague was threatened.
Now, do you guys? Does this guy?
Why is that so funny?
Does this guy make you feel? Does this story make you guys feel
Our
scared?
colleague was a threat.
Does this story make you guys feel scared?
No, but if that fucking Milchek guy showed up, the marching band, I'd be worried.
It does start to, it does feel like very South Park.
Oh my God!
Obviously.
Yeah, so that was a fake story. She planned a noose. It's kind of crazy. In isolation, it seems kind of crazy that someone would lie about something like this. But actually, hate crime hoaxes are something that's common nowadays.
Very common.
Yeah.
I tried to pull one off once, but they got me.
Here's a story from a couple years ago.
You hear the terms all the time in the news: hate crime, culture of hate. But what does it really mean? And how many of those so-called crimes are real? Correspondent Doug McKelway looks into those questions tonight.
Last week, an Indian-owned store in Charlotte, North Carolina was set afire, a rock thrown through the window, and a racist note left behind. It read, quote, "We need to get rid of Muslims, Indians, and all immigrants." It was signed, White America. This week,
White? What are you doing, White, writing notes like that?
Surveillance video showed him lighting the fire. The FBI does not track fake hate or false flag crimes, making them nearly impossible to quantify.
Wow. There is a large number of cases, certainly dozens or hundreds a year,
and have
Park
been
Dietz.
for at least the
Okay,
past
looks like
30
my godfather,
years.
The
honestly.
website fakehatecrimes.org documents hundreds of such cases, with new ones occurring almost every week. Among them, last month Israeli police arrested a 19-year-old Israeli Jewish man as the primary suspect in hundreds of bomb threats against Jewish community centers in the U.S. In January, a black waitress in Virginia claimed a customer wrote on the receipt, quote, "Great service, don't tip black people."
Shocked. Very, very, very shocked.
The customer later maintained it was written by the waitress, who was upset over her 1-cent tip for bad service.
Because she was a bad waitress.
Woman who
Tipped her 1 cent.
Subway
That's actually way better than not tipping.
My brother did
Dude,
that
I'm
once.
doing that next time.
My brother did that once, and he's banned from that restaurant
Hate crime
still.
hoaxes in America, Laird Wilcox, says the campus focus on microaggressions and safe spaces is the perfect incubator to fake hate crimes.
This isn't just my opinion. This is really fairly widely recognized now. I would say 80% of events that occur on the campus are hoaxes or pranks.
The Council on American Islamic Relations.
I don't know who that guy is, but whatever he has to say, I would just sit around a campfire and listen to him all night long.
We've tracked a spike in hate crimes since particularly the election. So in the week after the election, we tracked 111 separate incidents that were biased against targeting Muslims.
Dietz argues fraying cultural standards contribute to a societal gullibility to fake hate.
There was a time at which the institutions that dominated and provided social control were the church and the law and educational systems. But I think that has shifted, and this results in the dumbing down of the consumer.
I agree. And in the news report, they mentioned a site called Fake Hate Crime Tracker. Yeah, that site is, so that was from 2017, but this is, it's still around today. And there are so many stories.
Fakehatecrimes.org.
Now let's see. Are there any that stick out to any of you guys?
There was one about a lady in Allentown putting a fake noose around her.
Any that we haven't already talked about?
They could work on their presentation a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a lot of blue letters.
Another pro-Israel hate crime hoax. The Gray Zone's Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate discussed the mass arrest of student anti-genocide protesters at Boston's Northeastern University for a hateful phrase uttered by a pro-Israel counter-protest.
Oh, here, let me move this mic so the chat can be one of us.
Yeah, I had a hat on the chat, but it fell off. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but
What happened to the hat?
yeah, hate crime hoaxes. What are your opinions?
Turn down orange.
Turn down orange. Okay. Good.
Yep. Just so I don't kick it and it blows everybody's eardrums out.
All right. But yeah, why do you think there's a rise in hate crime hoaxes, guys?
There's a rise in victim mentality, and it's like cool to be a victim these days. So I don't know. It's a way for like other liberals to like make themselves more of a victim to their friends, and whoever's the most victim amongst liberal friends is like the most holy of the liberals.
Yeah, I agree. I think that news reporter also did a good job of like articulating the problem. We have like mass gullibility going around, and yeah, like people want to. I think we're too compassionate to the sense that we want to like help victims once a alleged victim rises. But the problem is you have a ton of people preying on people's goodwill, and they take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like nothing, like obviously none of these things are things that people actually want to happen to people, at least like a normal good person. So when someone says that it happens to them, the immediate reaction is like, oh, wow, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But now because they keep doing all this fake shit, it's like people's immediate reaction is that really true? And that's a shame, because now they're hurting the people that are actually affected by it by coming up with these fake stories.
Yeah, and some people are just really brazen about like that Allentown lady who just planted a noose.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, do they not have shame?
You can only concoct an evil plan to the upper limits of your own IQ, and so that's why some of these are so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, John. Like you and I were hanging out one time at a gym, and we saw like a rope that was shaped like a noose, and it reminded us of like the Bubba Wallace incident. And we were like, how could anyone be stupid to buy that? And of course, like you saw all those people rallying behind that lady who lied.
The Bubba Wallace one was dumb. That You tie that in a garage door so you can grab it and pull it down. And I think every race car driver's had one of those, which is the funny part. But yeah, dude, I love when stupid people think they're being smart.
You're gonna love this this clip of this guy telling his story.
Oh my God, I'm back.
bigotry.
I can think again. Sorry about that.
I am my ancestors' wildest dream.
Yeah, but this is
damn straight.
Yeah, so this is just sort of a live.
What about your dad's?
This is just sort of a live debunking.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wildest nightmare for the
okay,
dad.
so I'm gonna give a little bit of a backstory on myself. I'm Jaden Clark. I'm a student here.
You are gay.
Freshman year,
Tennessee.
This
man lives in
in
Knoxville.
Night, okay. 3 of them.
I think he lives in Coxville.
By Trump supporters.
What happened to you?
Okay, for one of them, I was just walking, and then I see this truck full of 4 white men pass by me, MAGA apparel, everything, you know. And then
they say this is MAGA country.
Anyways, they drove past me, and they were
How
like,
does he say that with a straight face?
"You bend over."
So they said the N-word on campus to you.
Well, yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. So what happened to them when you reported them?
I didn't report them.
Oh really? Okay. So maybe it didn't happen.
Okay. Anyways,
I don't believe you. I'm being honest. I don't believe you. I think
Okay.
you're making it up.
Okay. Anyways,
I refuse to believe that somebody on this campus would go around and sheepishly call you the N-word. I refuse to believe that. I think you're lying.
Anyways, next instance, they threatened to arrest me and then just drove off.
Hold on. So a bunch of Trump guys who are largely white heterosexual males then also threatened to rape you?
Different group of people, but yes.
All in one night?
All in one night, sir.
I think you're making this up.
Okay, that's fine.
But what evidence do you have for this? Do you have like corroborating witnesses? Do you have cameras? Do you have license plate numbers? Because now we're talking about crimes. Threatening to rape you is an intent of a crime. Did you go to the police? You file a police report? You hire an attorney? You sue the school? Did you go to the civil rights office? Do you file a civil rights complaint? Did you do any of that? Because you should.
Okay.
No, did you? Tell me. Yes or no?
I did not, but
Why?
I'm not going to argue with you.
No, but
on
you're coming in front of
experiences.
2,000 people to say it. Why did you
Right.
not go to the university and say this happened?
Okay, because how would I report them?
Anyone, there's
Who would I
hotlines all over this campus. You guys have nothing but like, if something happens to you, I think you're making this up. I think you're doing this to try to make a point.
Okay.
I don't think there's any evidence.
I can promise you, God as my witness, I am not. Anyways.
No, but seriously, why don't you today commit? Let's do this. I'm going to show you the university official, and why don't you go file a Department of Education complaint, and let's find these terrible people that did this to you. Can we agree?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll think about
and by the
that.
way, we'll be able to look at security camera footage, and we'll see.
Okay, I'll think about that.
But you didn't do that.
Can I
though.
try to finish?
You'll think about it. Hold on. Why wouldn't you want to do that immediately?
Can I talk?
No, but you're making a serious accusation. Please,
Charlie, you're being so rude. Let him finish.
And I'm not going to argue with you about my personal experiences. Anyways.
It didn't happen, man.
You don't know his lived experience, Charlie.
Anyways, I feel like every time I step foot on this campus, I have a wall of vitriol and hate at my back. And to the audience,
That was
I
the
say
word
to
of the
you,
day.
These are your fathers. These
I
are
think
your
it's justified,
siblings, and
buddy.
These are your neighbors. So y'all need to clock them. And I hate overgeneralizing.
Can you pause it real quick, Jack?
but I'm not going to
I have
say
a technical
all Trump
question
supporters
for
are
John.
racist.
Why is it that they have the Shure mic below and then a Rode mic clipped up on top of that? Do you see that?
Oh, there's a little Rode wireless on the mic.
Yeah.
It's possible 2 different people are making content out of this.
Might be 2 different channels. Might be one for like Charlie Kirk's channel and one for TPUSA's channel or something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe.
Well, the Shure mic is capturing just the speaker.
Yeah, if they do a wide shot of like the whole setup, so you might see some other cool stuff, like interesting stuff there.
But a good amount. Anyways, my question to you is, if you had one message to say
I like
to
the
these
security
people
guy in
with
the
the hate in their
background.
hearts, what would you tell them?
I would tell you to stop lying.
What would you tell them? Not to me.
No, honestly, I think you're Jussie Smollett at this campus. I
You
think
think
you're
that's a
completely
fake arm
making
on the
this
security
open up.
officer, security guard there?
I think you are a complete liar because I am now giving you an opportunity to report this at the high. I will bring this to Linda McMahon, the head of the Department of Education,
Wow.
the
For the
federal
speakers
government.
and recording are
I
separate,
will make
Zeb
sure these
says.
people are arrested by Kash Patel,
Oh,
the
it's
head of
the
the FBI.
dude's own microphone.
And you'll say, "Oh, I'll think about
he's
it."
definitely performing that.
Because you're making this up. You're doing this for a political purpose. So will you? No, seriously. Kash Patel will get involved.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's a hate crime. That's not acceptable. Well, hold on. No. Will you do this or not?
That's really cute, Charlie, but I'm trying to give you the opportunity to alleviate hate within this group of people who have a show.
And he's going to do it.
Hold on a second. There's no hate. There's just love of America here in this audience. That's all that's here today, okay? That's all that's here. But back to you. I heard your...
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about before. If you want to... Shit, hold on. It was like a split second.
In this audience. That's all that's here today, okay? That's all that's here.
Yeah, here we go. This is like the setup, if you notice anything specific.
Whoa, I do. Who the hell is that thing in a dress in the tent behind him?
Where?
In the black dress.
Black dress.
In the other tent, right behind his tent, or to the left, to the right of his tent. You see that?
Is the blonde?
Is that a girl or is that not a girl? And it looks a little Dylan Mulvaney-esque.
Like the guy...
It's so far away, man.
The girl sitting right next to the guy?
No, if you look to the right of Charlie Kirk in the background, there's like a man and woman in red shirts, and the man has a white hat on. You see him?
Oh, yeah.
To the right of the guy in the white hat. That's who you're talking about? Leaning against the blue.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too hard to tell from here.
You asked me if anything caught my attention. That's
okay, fair.
To you. I heard your accusation. I'm now going to go to the University of Tennessee and tweet this and say, hey, this is a serious accusation. I want the governor to get involved, by the way. Okay. The governor's getting involved. I'm going to call Marsha Blackburn. I'm now going to call Big Haggerty. I know all these people, and we're going to find out really quickly if you're telling the truth or not, because you just came in front of 2,000 people, and we're going to go bring in the police. We'll bring in the FBI, because what you just said is unacceptable. You said Trump supporters called you the N-word. That is no place in America, and they threatened to rape you. That is no place in America. But you know what else is no place in America? Lying and saying it happened to you. So we'll find out really quick if you're telling the truth or not.
That's cool, but like, can you answer my question though? If you...
My message to everyone in the audience, keep loving America.
Okay.
But
what about loving your neighbor?
Just so you know, this is going to become a very big issue. We're going to put this on social media because nowhere in America should you be allowed to go in front of a microphone with no evidence, no willingness to report, no likelihood to talk to police and say, oh, this happened to be at night, and ruin the reputation of half the country and say that they wanted to go me and call me the N-word. That is gross.
Yes, but so what do you guys think?
I was actually kind of impressed by Charlie Kirk for the first time ever.
Yeah.
He did just absolutely annihilate him, but he's also like...
How come when I do that shit, everyone thinks I'm an asshole?
Yeah, how come when you call Destiny a cuck, they try to take the mic away from you? That's unjustifiable. Yeah.
Destiny. Steven! Yeah, I don't know. I think that it's an interesting cultural shift, but one I agree with, where you move from assuming the person is telling the truth to assuming the person is lying.
Mm-hmm.
You're making a claim. What is your evidence?
Exactly. But
and I think that's actually good logic by Charlie of like, okay, you got threatened to be raped. Who'd you report it to? Oh, nobody, nothing. I didn't do it. So, okay.
Yeah.
And he said, will you come in front of 2,000 people and talk about this story, but you wouldn't go report it to the police?
Yeah, and it's so weird that he's trying to press Charlie to condemn certain people when that's exactly what he's going to be doing by helping him report his
Jack,
crime.
you were at with me the Uncensored America Milo Yiannopoulos event, and you remember how they had a very clearly pre-planned protest strategy where one person stood up and then they waited 5 minutes. Yeah. That person got kicked out.
I talked to some of them. Like, they were polite. I said, hi, my name's Jack. What's your name?
No, I just mean pointing out that they have a highly organized system of lying and performing to disrupt events.
They're theater kids. What do you expect?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how they deal with everything. It's never about confronting anything directly. They are all about controlling the words and the narrative. Much better than we are, honestly. And I think that's why they kind of have hung around as long as they did.
Yeah.
But once the shift happens, where it shifts from we're decent people and we believe you to, I still think we're decent people, but like you're making some pretty extraordinary claims.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do about it? If the answer is nothing at all, then you must conclude logically that claim is meaningless.
I agree.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah. Moving on.
Do you know, like the woman in Allentown, was she about to get like fired or something? Was there a reason?
I have no idea what the context.
Well, I don't know if you talked about this already. Stop me, but the DNA. Did you see that thing about the cops came in and DNA tested the rope, and every employee agreed to the DNA test except one?
Her.
Fucking her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they were like, I have a theory.
Yeah.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
Hypothesis.
And I think that's part of the reason why.
Developed a hypothesis.
And honestly, I think that's part of the reason why the whole BLM as a movement died over the past couple of years. Obviously, it has something to do with them being in office.
Well, the USA is not paying them anymore either.
Yeah.
Where did those bricks come from, Jack?
It's really in the Daily Wire too, apparently, which I find hilarious.
Yeah, but it's
That
like
timing.
Yeah, but it's like a lot of people, like the public perception, even though they will say they'll preach narratives, they don't like the consequences of it afterwards, and they're starting to understand like the they understood the consequences of spraying those untruths.
I don't know if that I don't know if it matters. That's info. Oh, maybe you will.
But moving on. Moving on, we have Jasmine Crockett in the news. Are you guys familiar with her? This Texas representative.
Unfortunately, yes.
Any relation to Davy?
Once probably removed.
Jasmine Crockett has the
she's
moves
the bear
to,
that he killed.
Fix America. She is definitely on the side of the American people.
I'm rooting for Canada. I'm rooting for Mexico a lot. Black folk not have to pay taxes. I don't know if that's not necessarily a bad idea. Somebody slap me and wake me the up.
We all know Jasmine Crockett is a fighter.
If I come and talk shit about her,
Crusty white bread. Has male pattern baldness.
Her consistency is unmatched.
Wait, rewind that. What did she say? We're going to pee on your ass?
Pee on your ass?
We are gonna pee on your ass.
That is what she said.
I think she said B on your ass.
Oh, B on your ass.
But it's kind of like with Asians, L's and R's. Maybe it's P's and B's.
Hey, welcome to Real Walk.
Now looks like a little bit over a year ago. And boo, let me just be real. And we ain't gonna sit for that.
Jasmine is always bringing the facts.
Let me make sure y'all got the facts. Most extreme crimes that take place are committed by white supremacists.
It is not a criminal violation to enter the country illegally.
There has been no oppression for the white man in this country.
Stop being Putin's hoe.
We're gonna
She really doesn't have hair until like the top of her head.
Because it's a weed.
Jasmine Crockett, the leader we probably don't need.
Jazz for press.
Remember that? Wasn't that the name of like the first tranny kid, Jazz?
Yeah. I think they still have a show on today. But a lot of people point out, like, are asking, like, why does she talk so ghetto? Like, why does she have to talk like that? And funnily enough, she actually didn't come from a ghetto background. She came from a private school background.
She's code switching.
So this is just entirely an act, or she's just a bitch. But she got herself into some controversy by speaking ill of Greg Abbott.
Brandon Vickers.
Hot ass Texas street, because we in these hot ass Texas streets, honey.
What is that lump of fabric on your left shoulder?
We got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey. So yes.
Is this from Barbershop 3 back in?
Yeah. So apparently she's speaking at an event regarding like people with disabilities, and she called like Greg Abbott, she referred to Greg Abbott like a crippled guy, a crippled representative, as Hot Wheels. So I'm not sure about the optics on that one.
David Olerking does kind of bring up a valid point. If it was a Democrat and Republican said Hot Wheels, we probably would think it's kind of funny. If Trump called it Democrat Hot Wheels, we would.
Yeah, and I
was going to say the same thing. That's not bad. That's not a bad joke.
That is a good point, and I do think that's why I don't really care that much about it. But I'm just like curious about like the outrage over it. So because not even The View is defending her.
What did the raccoon on her shoulder say about this?
That's what it said.
What is that? What is that?
I don't know.
It's called style, John.
I don't understand it.
I know you don't.
You don't mock people. I was going to say, just don't mock people at all. And I
turn that up a little bit.
Jasmine Crockett, I do think she's an effective messenger. I think this was a mistake.
Yeah, great messenger.
And I think when you make a mistake, you have to own it.
Yeah.
You have to do that because it gives you a lot more credibility when you do that. I did not know that Governor Abbott was a paraplegic.
How do you not know that he's a paraplegic?
Honestly, I think this is like a Mandela effect because I remember, I swear,
He was walking around.
No, I swear to God, in Trump's first term, he walked with him at the border wall. I swear to God, they walked like along the border together, and then all of a sudden, like 3 years later, I'm like, wait, this guy's in a wheelchair. What happened? And I Google, he's like been in a wheelchair since the 80s. I'm like, no way. I swear I saw him walking with Trump.
Yeah, because apparently he lost use of his legs when he was 26. Like a tree fell on him or something.
I think it was a car accident, but yes.
No, I think it was a tree.
Really?
Yeah.
What a terrible accident.
Fucked up.
How fast did that tree fall?
Yeah, but I see a lot of people saying, like Trump made fun of a reporter, like a disabled reporter, like years ago, so you can't be outraged when someone makes fun of a disabled reporter. And I don't know, that annoys me because that's just a lie. It
is a lie, but if he did make fun of a disabled reporter, I would have fucking laughed.
Yeah.
I don't think Greg Abbott gives a fuck about this, so I mean, I don't either.
I mean, it's good optics for him. He's probably happy, honestly. He's like,
he's like, oh, thanks for the free win.
Yeah.
But, hold on. Just real quick, I want to debunk that lie since it's in the...
What, he could walk in 2016?
No.
That Trump was making fun of him.
So...
And we'll get some of these regulators out of the banks so you can borrow and you can help. Because, the banks...
He does look younger. People say he doesn't age.
This is 10 years ago.
In all fairness to the banks, they're run by the regulators.
Yeah, right.
When you see the president of the bank, I mentioned the word regulator. These guys come in, they run the banks. And I watched a general recently on television, and they said to him, what do you think about ISIS? Oh, ISIS is very tough. And I'm saying, first of all, why is a general on television? I don't want my generals on television. I heard Ted's a good debater. I said, he is a good debater, but he can't talk, okay? He's a bad talker. He's a good debater, bad talker. So he's over here. They asked him about waterboarding. They said, Senator Cruz, what do you think of waterboarding? I don't want to talk about it. He didn't want to talk about waterboarding because too controversial. And I'm saying to myself, they're chopping off heads. He doesn't want to talk about waterboarding. A couple of good paragraphs. It's talking about northern New Jersey draws the prober's eye. Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. I don't know what I said.
Yeah, so this is the clip that people are talking about. This is where they're saying that he mocked the reporter.
Yeah.
But no, those are just like mannerisms he uses when he's making fun of somebody.
Patrick Ancona says, we called my brother-in-law in a wheelchair hot rod.
Jack, there were good reporters on both sides.
Yeah, but I'm going to leave this tweet from Tim Pool to close us off on the Crockett drama because I think he has it right. Jasmine Crockett shouldn't apologize for calling Greg Abbott Hot Wheels. I'm not going to pretend to be outraged. It was a good one. And honestly, I agree. We make fun of people all the time on this show.
What? Name 2 times.
Me.
Can I get a source for that? What's your source?
I'm going to need the free press to investigate this one.
I don't know, the past couple videos. I don't know. But like, yeah, I feel as that, I think people are just being selectively, are just applying selective outrage over this. And even though like Trump didn't mock a reporter, he does mock people all the times. And I find it funny. I kind of find it similar to like don't celebrate people's deaths. Like it's impolite to do so, but people are going to celebrate someone's death if they're on the opposite side because they find them to be evil.
Like Ari Shafir when Kobe Bryant died. Do you remember that video?
Yeah. Also, but I'm also thinking like Supreme Court justices, because whenever like a liberal court justice or conservative court justice dies, like everyone just like cheers. Like people.
I have a song about Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, on how she's in a better place.
No, it was actually before she died.
Oh, okay.
It was a love song.
It was a love ballad.
Yeah. But something that reminds me of how like brutal Trump is the whole Rosie O'Donnell feud.
Oh,
yeah, she's actually in the news again.
The classic of the classics.
Right.
I heard that Ireland's sea level rose 2 inches the day she got there.
Probably did.
That's a good joke.
A lot of people did vote for him.
Yes.
Do you accept their right to do that and their opinion of him?
Well, I respect their right to do that. I question why the first time in American history a president has won every swing state and is also best friends, and his largest donor was a man who owns and runs the internet.
Runs the internet.
So I would hope that would be investigated.
Sounds like she
and
understands
that we would
how it
see
works.
whether or not it was an anomaly or something else.
She
that
thinks he has a room with 2
on election night
plugs
in
going
America
to the
when
wall. She's
Kamala
old.
Harris was filling up stadiums with people who supported her. And
She was filling up stadiums.
Yo, she's so old now. You throw a blonde wig on her,
Donald Trump was
she would
not
sound
able
like Trump.
So it's
Seems like
curious to me.
testosterone is starting to
And
dominate
as an
the
American and a
estrogen left in
believer
her
in
body.
democracy, I would hope that we would be able to look at all of the reasons why this happened.
Is she
in our
questioning the results of an election?
No, you wouldn't. She wouldn't do that.
Accuse the other side of that which you are guilty.
Yeah, but I kind of
rules for radicals.
Yeah, but I just kind of wanted to bring up that clip so I could justify bringing this up.
Donald's disgusting.
Hold on, let me get
It's incredible.
Rosie O'Donnell's disgusting. I mean, both inside and out. You take a look at her; she's a slob. She talks like a truck
Inside and
driver. Rosie attacked me personally because I was very happy when her talk show failed. The other thing that failed, and this was a real monster, and everybody was suing her, was her magazine. Her magazine called Rosie was a total disaster. So I loved it. I gloat over it. I think it's wonderful because I like to see bad people fail. Rosie failed. I'm happy about it. She's basically a disaster. Well, she called me a snake oil salesman. And, you know, coming from Rosie, that's pretty low because when you look at her and when you see the mind is weak. I don't see it. I don't get it. I never understood. How does she even get on television? I believe Barbara made a terrible mistake putting her on, and I think Barbara's probably paying a big price. If I were running The View, I'd fire Rosie. I mean, I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired. We're all a little chubby, but Rosie's just worse than most of us. But it's not the chubbiness. Rosie is a very unattractive person, both inside and out. Rosie's a person that's very lucky to have her girlfriend. And she better be careful or I'll send one of my friends over to pick up her girlfriend. Why would she stay with Rosie if she had another choice? She's trying to use ABC and The View to get even with me. But with me, we fight back. I'll probably sue Rosie because she doesn't tell the facts. As an example, I'm worth many billions of dollars. Now, she said I was bankrupt. I never went bankrupt. So probably I'll sue her because it would be fun. I'd like to take some money out of her fat ass pockets. I actually think they ought to look at her whole life and see where she's coming from because I think she's got some very deep-seated problems. Perhaps it should be Rosie that goes to rehab. Rosie is a loser.
Yeah, so classic Trump.
You remember the Megyn Kelly one, right? With about Rosie?
Oh, yeah.
You got YouTube up? Pull up Trump.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, only Rosie O'Donnell. Holy fuck, did I laugh at that one. That also took out Megyn. Megyn Kelly was huge.
She self-destructed herself.
She was bleeding from her eyes, from her.
So wait, what's the chronological order with her? Like she tried feuding with Trump, then everyone told her to eat shit. So she left Fox News.
It's tracking you.
So she left Fox News and went to the MSNBC or whatever, or NBC News, and they hated her over there because she justified blackface or something. So they she was fired or let go from over there. So now
almost immediately, but she signed. I forget what her deal was. It was it was something preposterous that they had to pay her out after 2 months of being there.
Yeah, but yeah, this one, first one.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the things
Turn that volume up, please.
Is you speak your mind and you don't use a politician's filter. However, that is not without its downsides, in particular when it comes to women.
This moment changed the world
women
right
you
here.
don't like fat pigs, dogs, slobs.
Everyone's
and
laughing.
disgusting
Yeah, just listen to the crowd after.
Your Twitter account.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
No, it wasn't.
And this is a room full of donors and rhino Republicans.
They're all.
Is that Rosie in the green dress there?
That's her cousin.
God,
taking notes for her.
Fucking an incredible moment.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
Right, but let's see.
And then, so then Megyn Kelly goes, to be fair, it was more than Rosie O'Donnell. Goes, I'm sure it was.
Well, actually, let me finish that. Oh, wait.
Oh, look at that. Wait, go back to that shot. I've never seen the back of this shirt. That's pretty sweet. Dude, look at that. USA?
Not bad.
It is very 90s.
Nice. Yes, what's this?
Your Twitter account.
She is so annoyed.
Just feels the walls closing in around her.
Nah, cut it off. Whatever. It's fine.
It's all good, Jack.
All right. Let's see. What else is in the news is... Hold on. Did I have it up? Hold on, let me get the link up real quick. So Stephen A. Smith and Ben Shapiro are debating on the Derek Chauvin pardon. Stephen A. Smith previously called Ben Shapiro a race hustler or a race supremacist, because if George Floyd were Jewish, he would have if a Hasidic Jew, he'd have a different standard for him. And now they're officially debating.
After being convicted of unintentional second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter of George Floyd. I wondered if you would feel that way if the officer was black and the victim was Jewish. That was what I said, and your response was to call me a race baiter. Why is that, Ben Shapiro?
Well, to me, the entire case against Derek Chauvin was rooted in a sort of public racial essentialism that I thought was unnecessary to analyze the case. If I'm going to look at this case and just look at the facts of the case, the race of the person on the ground and the race of the officer are irrelevant, and we should treat it exactly the same, whether both people were black, both people are white, one person was Jewish, one person was not Jewish. The identity of the person on the ground, I think, should not be the deciding factor in whether or not Derek Chauvin was convicted of second-degree murder. It should be the situation, the facts of the case, the autopsy report, and all of the rest. And so the thing that I actually objected to was the suggestion that my opinion would have changed, rooted in the, say, racial or religious identity of the person who died, as opposed to the racial or religious identity of the person who was the police officer. I just don't think that that's how we ought to decide criminal justice cases in general.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with him saying this, but at the same time, do you think he would still have a different standard if a Hasidic Jew was George Floyd?
Have you ever seen a face in your life that you wanted to punch more than what you see right now?
Again, I can't. I know I might sound like your stereotypical leftist, but this little shading on
I just want to take my fist and punch him right in the face.
The little shading on Ben Shapiro.
Somewhere down there.
The little shading on Ben Shapiro's facial hair in the middle. It seems like a Hitler adjacent mustache.
Dude, I was actually just thinking that. His little dark spot?
Yeah. I can't help but think
it'd be funny if he's dying and he keeps like dying more and more. Just let it get a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger.
However, I think that
wow, that's just buried. I'm not going to be able to look anywhere else now.
Yeah. However, I think that
God is real and he has a sense of humor.
However, I think that Ben Shapiro won in this exchange, and it's because of this.
Let me ask you this. I mean, if you looked at, you said before that you didn't look at the autopsy report, you're not taking a lot of time looking at the evidence or the autopsy. What would it take for you to change your mind on the case, or is there nothing that could change your mind on the case because you saw the tape, for example?
Well, it wouldn't take much, and this is why I said this, because normally I would look at the autopsy reports or whatever.
Normally.
I saw people bringing up his arrest record. I saw people bringing up fentanyl in the system. I saw all of these things.
Sorry.
And all I could come to, Ben, fair or unfair, was that none of that matters if he wasn't on the ground with a knee on the back of his neck for 9+ minutes. Because I'm looking at a trained police officer who should know better. I looked at the experts who were saying, with their trade, there was no reason, and you saw it.
To be fair, wasn't that what he was trained to do?
Not to say that you would embrace it.
He was. What he was doing was standard police training practice.
Also, why is Stephen A. Smith getting involved in any of this? Is the left so tapped out on talent that they're like, hey, ESPN?
I think he finally said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. You guys suck.
You got anybody we can use? Because, is Michael Wilbon available for PTI-style debates?
He's Republican, though.
Oh, so there you go. That's why Stephen A. Smith.
Well, no, he describes himself as a centrist, I thought, who leans left.
Wilbon?
Oh, no. Stephen A. Smith? Is that who you're talking
Stephen
about?
A. Smith is a liberal. I'm talking about Wilbon.
This whole, I still will maintain that I think this whole Ben Shapiro suddenly pushing for the George Floyd thing is totally fake.
Publicity stunt.
Not publicity stunt. He's trying to create problems for Trump.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I said the last time.
Because it's actually an objectively true position he's taking, so I agree with you, Jack, that he's winning this debate.
Yeah.
Chauvin or whatever, however you pronounce his name, does not seem to have done anything wrong. So that's objectively true, but it does create this political quagmire Because Trump's base would agree with that, and that allows Ben Shapiro to sit there and go, see, I'm more like you guys than Trump is.
Yeah, but the problem, and I said this last time we talked about it in the previous episode, but the problem with what Ben Shapiro is suggesting is that a federal pardon won't alone get Chauvin out of prison, because he still has the state charges to compete with, right? So to me, it makes more sense to just have a retrial and show how he is innocent beyond a reasonable doubt, because if the local charges or the state charges go away, then the federal charges will just naturally go away too. But that's not what he's proposing.
I think where I disagree with you, Jack, is I don't think anything happening on the screen right now is legitimate. I think this is totally manufactured. I think Stephen. I'll make a call on this early. It's not that early. I think it's pretty obvious, but Stephen A. Smith has been tapped into some sort of organization, and they have plans for him. Mm-hmm. Is what's going on there. What's happening on your screen is good for both of these guys.
Yeah.
And bad for Trump.
Exactly, because again,
that is what's going on. That's the objective. That's the plan. It's all on purpose. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys talk to each other before this happens.
Yeah, and again, I agree with you, because nowhere in the podcast, because I saw the full episode, nowhere in the podcast did he raise the point that I raised, which is the federal, which is how he would still be in prison even without the federal charges. But let's continue this.
With the level of sincerity that others may, because I know the level of skepticism that you look at when you see the news outlets. And by the way, I don't blame you. I'm with you on that, okay? But I would say to you, listening to experts talk about how police officers are trained,
fucking dark
and pointing
spot,
to the
man.
fact that Derek Chauvin had no business being in that position and putting George Floyd in that position, particularly once he was handcuffed and contained. To me, that, along with the ultimate outcome, is all the evidence I need, and that's where we might differ.
I mean, that's totally fair if we differ on that. I guess the question I would ask you is, given the fact that that was a Minneapolis Police Department trained protocol, given the fact that Floyd did ask to be removed from the car, I mean, in the lead up to the situation, the part of the tape that nobody watches, he was actually outside the car. The police officers move him inside the car. He says he's claustrophobic, and then he claims 6 consecutive times that he cannot breathe while he's in the car. So if the idea is that it was the police officer's knee that deprived him of breath, he was already claiming that he couldn't breathe inside the car, suggesting he was already in the middle of some sort of medical event, right? And then he was brought outside the car. I guess the question that I have for you, again, is what level of evidence would need to be shown for you to get to reasonable doubt? I mean, you seem incredibly certain, right? All I'm saying is that the reasonable doubt standard is what pertains in criminal justice. What would it take to get you to reasonable doubt? Or is there no reasonable doubt that could be achieved simply by dint of the fact that he had his knee on his neck? By the way, it's not for the full 9 minutes. There are minutes where it's on his back. I mean, even the prosecution acknowledges that. The real question is, I think, the last 50 seconds, right? The last 50 seconds of the tape where Floyd stops breathing and Chauvin's knee is still on his neck. That is really the question as to whether this goes into criminal charge territory. Otherwise, he ends up being in a position where he's actually just using a typical subdual technique before you put the guy back in the car and you take him off to jail.
And I'm saying, to answer your question, there's absolutely nothing that could convince me that Derek Chauvin deserved a different outcome because of what you just articulated, what we saw, even if it's for the last 50 seconds. I'm not changing my position.
Yeah, so I think.
Let me ask you this. I mean, if you looked at you.
Yeah, so I think after that, it became obvious that Ben Shapiro won. Stephen A. Smith is purely going off of emotion there. But the thing is, like you said, John, I feel like Stephen A. Smith's can survive a hit like that with his audience, because I would imagine a lot of them already agree with him on his perception of George Floyd.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, his fans agree with everything he's saying. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but what do you think, Mihai? How do you think this is going to go realistically? Do you think Ben Shapiro is actually going to get Trump to pardon Chauvin, or do you think he's just going to get a bunch of suckers to sign up for his Daily Wire subscriptions?
Was Ben Shapiro not the same? Is this not the same Ben Shapiro that said it was the most disgusting act he's ever seen?
That's true.
When this video first came out,
he definitely changed his tune real quick.
Because the video hasn't changed. The video he's referring to is the same video he watched then.
Yep, that's true.
I don't believe him.
I don't believe him.
I think there's an angle.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The grill is weighing it down.
Heavy gorilla. Close enough. Close enough for government work.
Okay. We are nearing the end, but what else do you guys want to discuss? We have the Snow White controversy, and we have a certain other actor coming back with a movie that I honestly didn't think.
Yeah, I mentioned that. That's fucking hilarious.
Okay, so we all remember Alec Baldwin, right? That funny guy. He got into
Stephen Baldwin's brother.
Stevens, you mean Billy's brother? How many of them there are? There's a lot.
I think there's 4, maybe. I don't even know.
What's the other one? Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was not seeing this coming. So for those of you who are unaware, Alec Baldwin went through a lengthy trial regarding an on-set shooting that killed a crew member on the movie Rust.
Is that movie ever going to come out?
Yeah, it's coming out.
Oh, whoa, shit,
yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Wait, what the fuck?
It's coming out.
I mean, I have to go see it.
The only order that exists in this world is an order we impose.
What if it's really good?
It's like the best movie ever.
Yeah.
It's to die for.
God bless the wicked. They continue to pay my bills. Some things in this life you can't get back, I reckon.
Is that Chris Pratt?
Holy fuck. Right at the end.
One of us.
I have to see the comments. I have to see the comments.
Guys, stand behind alcohol. This is much safer than in front of him.
Hit me with your best shot. Come on and hit me with your best shot. Hit me with your best shot. Fire away.
The most believable portrayal of a murderer the film world's ever seen. I totally believe that guy kills people. What if he wins like best actor?
He probably will. He'll probably win an Oscar.
Who says
and
that?
they'll all clap for him.
Who says that he's acting? Yeah, but do you guys think that this is gratuitous?
Were they rolling film when he fucking shot her? Did they use that clip in
That's
the movie?
a good question.
They composite
That's
that
a good
in?
question. Yeah, but do you guys find this to be gratuitous, or do you think they should have scrapped the movie after he accidentally shot her?
I'm not against it. I mean, the amount of people and time and energy that were put
Money.
into. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the real reason.
Yeah,
But
it kind of reminds me of The Crow, if you're familiar with those films,
Oh, sure.
because the main lead died, right? But they still had like someone replace them.
I mean, shit. What was that movie we talked about 2 weeks ago with the dogs?
Oh yeah, like Milo and Otis.
Yeah, they never stopped filming when they died.
They continuously use like dogs to go through.
Yeah, you think a little PR moment never stopped them?
you didn't shoot a cast member. You just shot one of the crew. Who cares?
Yeah, but John, do you find this inspiring? Like, even if someone dies on Killer Whale, you can it can still get out.
You better knock on wood now.
Yeah, it's gonna be you. It is. Killer Whale's a documentary.
It's just following Jack, a day in the life of Jack.
Yeah, but other than that, some other movie news is the latest Disney movie, the latest live-action Disney movie, is not doing so hot. I am, of course, referring to Snow White. I made a video about this, like reviewing the film itself on KinoFlex for those of you curious. It's not a good movie. It's really bad, actually. The mood was grim Sunday.
Was grim.
Sunday on the Disney lot as Snow White opened behind.
This article is a better plot already than the movie does. The mood was grim.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me get the mouse here. Yeah. The mood was grim Sunday on the Disney lot as Snow White opened behind expectations to an estimated $43 million domestically, globally, the live-action remake of the iconic 1937 film was expected to clear $100 million, but instead came in at $87.3 million. Now, typically, like, even though all of the, like every single one of these live-action Disney remakes I've seen has been bad, but they have been profitable. For instance, that Little Mermaid live-action remake, bad movie, it still made money. Now, I'm not sure, but this is the first time, like, it seems as though this is a live-action Disney remake that might flop. And do you guys know why?
I have some theories.
Well, shoot a couple.
Because it's woke?
Well, it's called Snow White, referencing the appearance of the princess. And I'm looking at the person who plays the princess, and I'm kind of like, huh? Are you sure it's not Mole White?
Yeah. Well, you're on to something, John. You're on to something because it does have something to do with the actress, and there were people annoyed over the race change. In the movie, they changed the reason she was named Snow White because she was in a snowstorm. I find that stupid. But it has to do with the actress more so. And here she is, Rachel Zegler, and to the left, and that's Gal Gadot to the right.
No longer 1937.
She's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming.
Scooter McLovin, someone called Rachel Ziegler Lord Farquaad.
About true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can.
The Muffin
be.
Man?
And the leader
The
that her
Muffin
late father
Man.
told her that she could
The one who
be
lives on
if
Mulberry
she was
Lane.
fearless, fair, brave, and true. The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. So we didn't do that this time. I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. I watched it for the first time.
Sounds like the perfect person to reenact it.
17 years. The cartoon was made 85 years ago, and therefore it's extremely dated when it comes to the ideas
Dated?
of
Then why star in
women
it?
being
They paid her to do these media tours, too.
Yeah. And they are not like, trust me, Mihai, the people involved were not happy because this is, as Jack Posobiec points, like, shares a screenshot on Instagram, the son of a Snow White producer is not happy with how it turned out. You really want to do this? Yeah. My dad, the producer of an enormous piece of Disney IP with hundreds of millions of dollars on the line, had to leave his family to fly across the country to reprimand his 20-year-old employee for dragging her personal politics into the middle of promoting the movie for which she signed a multi-million-dollar contract to get paid and do publicly for. This is called adult responsibility and accountability, and her actions clearly hurt the film's box office. Free speech does not mean you're allowed to say whatever you want in your private employment without repercussions. Tens of thousands of people worked on that film, and she hijacked the conversation for her own immature desires at the risk of all the colleagues and crew and blue-collar workers who depend on that movie to be successful. Narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged. Yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think Rachel Zegler has a career after this? Do you think it's going to take a hit?
Williams channel, she's a professional propagandist. I don't know. I actually think
more like amateur propagandist.
She did exactly what she was paid to do.
Yeah. So
she probably will be around.
Yeah. So you think that Disney was going to drastically change Snow White with or without Rachel Zegler?
Yes.
They're using her as a cop out.
Yeah. I don't even know that they're really using her as a cop out. I guess it gives them plausible deniability in a way, but.
Yeah, and for what's worth, I don't like Rachel Zegler. I think she's obnoxious. Like here she is saying, Disney Snow White, Rachel Zegler said that harm should befall Trump and all his voters. Do not see this film.
I think what bothers me is that anybody went to see this movie at all. I mean, I hope not one right-wing conservative person saw this. Well, unless
you're looking at me.
No, I didn't mean to imply that. But you have a movie.
You act like you paid to watch it, though.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it.
Man.
Ooh. I'm going to
crack.
But, Maybe skip this one. You believe what you say, or you don't. And
is it better? Sorry, is it better or worse than the Dumbo recreation?
There's a remake of Dumbo.
Yeah, there was, but it was released straight.
I think it's the only film that had a lower opening day than this one. Snow White. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I thought it went straight to Disney Plus, but if it went to theaters, that's bad.
I think the point of this movie by the people in charge of it was, number one, to make everybody that was aligned with the classic version angry and upset and annoyed. I think the point of it was to rewrite history in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You sort of can't talk about any of this stuff without somebody calling you some sort of white supremacist. That's not what I'm saying, but like there are classically Asian stories and there's classically black stories.
Well, they wouldn't, to your point, they wouldn't cast a white person to play Mulan.
That's what I mean. That is exactly what I mean.
Right.
And so, I mean, there's some films where I do agree that the race or even gender of some of the characters are irrelevant.
Yeah.
I really do agree with that. And I think that actually was quite prevalent in like the late 80s and 90s. People kind of forget like Wesley Snipes in Blade. Awesome fucking movie.
Yeah.
You could have put a white or an Asian, like as long as they did a good job like Wesley Snipes did. Denzel Washington was a huge fucking star, but not a black star. I mean, he is black, but like his roles could have gone to anyone. He was just a leading man. Wesley Snipes was just a leading man.
Mm-hmm.
Keanu Reeves is half Asian at least, if not more.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever said anything twice. It's just there's talent and there's a look. The look does matter. You're an actor. You're partially, if not mostly, a model. You come to this film called Snow White. The title of the film is Snow White, and the name of the character is Snow White because her skin is so conspicuously white.
Yeah, and another thing to take into account is that nobody knows who Rachel Zegler is. Like, if you were Alec Baldwin...
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't try to get other bigger names to do it, and those people turned it down because they're like, I see what you're trying to do here, and I don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah, like I feel as though if you talk to the average person and say, "Hey,"
Will Smith is another good one. Yeah,
yeah. I feel as though if you talk to the average person, they say, "Oh, the 1937 Disney Snow White film is problematic." They're just gonna like roll their eyes. And
I mean, you guys are quite a bit younger than me. I don't know how much you remember any of this, but another one like Carl Weathers.
Yeah,
hell yeah,
incredible. Love every movie he's in. I think that I've ever.
You talking about Chubbs?
Chubbs is good. But even Predator, all that stuff. I mean, a Rocky.
You talking about Apollo Creed?
I think he passed
In fact,
away.
Rocky's a great example where sort of the antagonist is a black guy and the protagonist is white or Italian or whatever you want to call him, depending on what side. But white,
how deep you are, yeah.
Yeah, it depends how deep you are. But like, nobody was like, oh, the white guy's good. And that, like, Apollo Creed was a complex character.
Yeah.
And likable in a lot of ways. Like this was not an issue in the 90s. Nobody saw this. None of the kids, none of the white.
Oh, jeez.
They should put their money where their mouth is and swap Tarzan. They could even market it as a documentary like the Dahmer series.
I want to see Tarzan where Tarzan is a monkey and all the apes are humans.
No,
you know what that reminds me of when Kathy Hochul said the black kids don't know how to use computers, and you see the video of the black kid who's like walking around a room like a caveman. He's like biting his computer.
You know what they should do? They should make a remake of Song of the South.
Is it actually racist, or
no,
is it because it's about the South?
This might be a controversial take, but I watched it. It's not. Hold on. Scooter McLovin, Terry Crews should play Cinderella.
Terry Crews.
I'd get behind that.
Another
actually.
good one. I like Terry Crews.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But like, I wouldn't cast Terry Crews as a character that was supposed to be like small and slim and cerebral. There is a model part to an actor where like the look is important to the character.
Yeah, and John, as someone who saw the Snow White remake, I would say my biggest complaint is how they try to maintain aspects of the story while in other certain instances, like changing major parts of the story. Like it's incompatible. So Snow White, she's like a static character. She doesn't she remains completely the same throughout the story. She's a victim of the evil queen, and that's that. But in here, in the remake, they changed that and to make her a leader, and because of that, they tried to make her a dynamic character.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is part of this shift where originally, like when the original came out, beauty was considered a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Snow White is beautiful, and the evil witch is like, who's the most beautiful in all the land, and it says Snow White, and she gets jealous. It's pointing out something that women do that is quite evil, and they all do this. Ladies out there, you know it's true. You know it's true. But then they do this remake. Gal Gadot, who I don't really like, is, I think, objectively quite a bit more attractive than Rachel Zegler.
I wouldn't even call it objective.
Yeah, it's like, and so you're just like, that now it just doesn't even make sense right from the beginning.
Yeah, and another thing, John, in the movie, they make fairness, they change it from being physical beauty to internal beauty, which doesn't make any sense because the queen, like I say in my video, the queen is a giant bitch. Like, take away Snow White. Everyone else, like anyone else, would be the fairest in the land and not the queen. It doesn't make any sense plot-wise.
Yeah, good point, actually.
They remade Beauty and the Beast, right?
Yeah, they did. It was pretty bad, too.
Who was the actress in that?
Emma Watson.
Yeah, Emma Watson. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Like,
I don't even understand why they keep doing this.
Yeah, the problem isn't necessarily the race changes.
They're trying to destroy the cultural bedrock of America. That's why.
The live action remakes,
I can't even argue.
There's no justification.
Like if you wanted to destroy, I mean, if Nigeria had a film industry, it'd be like going in there and just recasting all their cultural classics with a bunch of white people and changing what the stories were fundamentally about, just to fucking demoralize them.
Right.
But this new Snow White, like, you guys are starting to get old enough now, you'll start to see this. Like, kids younger than you will know nothing of the original. They'll only know this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
And I think films, what the left understands and they've done with film and all media is a replacement for the church. So rather than scripture, you get film. And we do this ourselves. We use films as metaphors to understand. I like to do that because I'm from a generation where film was more my scripture than church was. That's why I reference Fight Club. But, you know, you use a discerning eye to find good films that give good messages. I don't think using films as a form of scripture is necessarily bad, but they aren't real. You could kind of argue some of the parables aren't real either. It's just more... I mean,
Jonah wasn't actually in the belly of a whale?
I mean, maybe he was, but like, I think Jesus, if looked at as a historical person, one of his great genius characteristics, I think he was a genius, but was that whole, why do you speak to them in parables? Because they see, but so that they understand what I'm saying. That is a fundamental truth, I think. I think we learn and give our lives and our generation's context through parables, through stories.
I don't know if you've seen the TV series The Chosen. It's about Jesus and like his gathering of apostles leading up to his death. But there's a moment in there where I think it was Matthew asking him, he's like, why do you have to keep talking and all this? Like, why does everything have to be so... In the parable, was like, why can't you just tell the story? He's like, and Jesus' response in the show is, allow me a bit of poetry, Matthew.
Yeah, my
so I think the left understands that mass consumed media, which tends to be Hollywood movies and things like that, that is the modern church.
Yeah.
And so this movie is like a sermon, but it also becomes this anchor point for anyone young enough where this is what they remember.
Right. Yeah. Something to keep in mind is that even if like a lot of movies are fiction, like they're also documentaries, which are also partially fiction in a way, because look at people like Werner Herzog, they stage some stuff for a dramatic effect, but these films are at the end of the day still cultural experiences, and the people at Hollywood are expecting you to have some takeaways from these experiences and apply them to your everyday life.
Brandon Vickers, films as scripture is a great fit for those who think government is their God. Yeah, great. Exactly that.
Yeah.
The government is God, and you go to church and you consume these sermons.
Yeah. But moving on from Snow White, Harry Sisson is back. Our favorite guy, and who, for those of you unaware, he was texting multiple women who were sending him nudes.
Didn't we cover this last week?
Yeah, but he is back, and he's ready to own up to his mistakes.
I want to talk openly and honestly about this entire controversy that has exploded in the past week. First and foremost, I want to start by saying I fucked up. I should have told the people I was talking to that there were other people, and of course I regret that decision, and I've reflected on it a lot, and I'm learning and going to be better in the future. Now, what I will say is that this entire situation has been blown wildly out of proportion by MAGA Republicans to further their political agenda.
Probably should just stop.
It's our fault.
Probably
It's our fault.
Probably should just stop at the last part of the apology there. I think he was doing pretty good up until now.
Know that they don't actually care about this. They just hate me. That's why they care. I mean, when has MAGA ever cared about women? Also, MAGA has been spreading misinformation about the situation,
Only the hot
so I want to set the record straight. I was not in a
Very clever.
relationship with anyone. I wasn't exclusive with anyone. I never met anybody in person. I never spoke to anybody on the phone, and it was done among consensual adults. That's it. It was a very casual thing.
Okay, yeah, and I remember when this was brought up, I defended him actually. Like I said, this is a nothing burger. Like, guys do this all the time. But the real controversy is that you're pretending you're not like the other guys, Harry.
You remember last week?
You're a
when
hypocrite.
you were a wee lad sitting on your grandfather's lap, unless he smoked a corncob pipe, and the dogs played in the yard. And the flowers were just beginning to bloom. Spring had just sprung.
It's a detailed picture you're painting.
Yes.
It's like a who's the name of that American like a painter like
Norman Rockwell.
Rockwell,
Yes.
that's right. Yeah. But like, yeah, again, like, who is he fooling here? Like, people on his own side were disassociating from him. They're saying that you're a player. You're someone that we demonize. You're no better than Andrew Tate. They were saying.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't forcing these women to play with themselves on live streams and then taking the money from that.
Yeah,
so.
and again, like, people
There's a
do
bit
this.
of a difference.
People do what he does all the time on dating apps. Like, and again, like, I agree, Mihai, that criticism is dumb. But it just goes to show that the Dems just really like demonizing like straight white guys. Like this entire controversy is him being like revealed to be straight.
William Jefferson Clinton, anthropomorphic Robin Hood was the shit.
Yeah. I have fond memories of that. Also,
wait, what is the better Robin Hood movie?
Disney anthropomorphic Robin. I'll tell you why. Because there's like.
Not the Kevin Costner one?
No. Hear me out. So there's been, just like how there was attempted revisionism with Snow White, Disney Snow White, the live action film. There was revisionism with Robin Hood because people like Hollywood tries to present him as some socialist communist figure when he's more so of a libertarian figure because he's specifically taking back like money from the government and giving it back to the people who were unrightfully taxed.
Yeah, that's the key point. Unjustly taxed.
Right.
He was setting the world back to balance.
You know what actually is wild, though? Like, just how much people used to care about taxes compared to what we care about now. Like, half the Bible was about how people just hated paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And we just do it and we don't even think twice now. Not literally half the Bible, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of parts of the Bible where they're like, yeah, we really hate this tax collector guy.
Yeah.
Got nothing to add to that. It's a good point.
It is a good point.
We as Democrats have to get better at recognizing someone who makes a mistake and can learn from that mistake and someone who does actual harm to a community. We cannot, as a party, just attack and demonize people who make mistakes, people who are learning from their actions. If we ever want to hold office ever again and actually win an election, our umbrella should be as wide as possible. And we shouldn't be trying to silence people or push people away who are vocal on these issues. And the final thing I'll say about this is that people involved in this situation released my private text messages, private photos of me, intimate details about me that intended to stay private without my knowledge or consent. I didn't consent to any of that. A complete violation of my privacy.
And he's the victim.
I thought that's just
you're a public figure, Harry.
Yeah, that's
this
just
dude's
journalism.
a fucking sociopath, man.
That's just journalism, Harry. I thought that's.
You know what, guys? You know who the real victim is in all of this? It's me.
Yeah, like,
holy shit.
Yeah, he's a joke. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. Are there any other topics you guys want to get into?
I think it's a natural ending point there.
Yeah, I'm pretty set. Any closing thoughts from yourself, Jack? I mean,
let's
Have you ever reviewed any Bollywood films and have you considered
Bollywood? Oh man. Let me.
You know, Bollywood makes more money every year than Hollywood.
I believe
There's. I saw.
There's a billion people in India, so
I saw a pretty good Bollywood.
Sell tickets for 30 cents. They're still out.
I saw a pretty good Bollywood film years ago called RRR. Have you guys heard of that? It's on Amazon or Netflix. Or.
No, I haven't heard of that. The only Bollywood movie I've ever seen is Lagan. It's a cricket movie.
It's probably
a cricket musical, and it's like 4 hours long.
Hold on. Let me play this for you.
That's what we should turn Kill Away into a musical, honestly.
I actually thought about it.
So
I've thought about it. I was like, nah.
Let me play this
Can't do
quick.
it. I couldn't figure out how to work Dear Ed into it. Ooh, that's a real building.
It was built by the British, though.
Is this the one where the guy smashes the girl with the fucking big ass wood? SS Ramajuli. They do the stupidest shit.
Oh, wait. I feel like I actually have... Why do I remember this? When did this come out, Jack?
A couple of years ago. Maybe 2022 or 2023.
I'm realizing American trailers probably look this retarded to other people.
Yeah, Michael Bay film probably looks just like this.
Oh man, did they get run over?
I don't know, maybe not this time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot that is this movie.
Wow. Tatanka? That was pretty nasty mustache. I gotta give him that.
Still put 2 shots of Punch in the Heavy Bag in one trailer. Oh
God, he got Greg Abbott.
Dude, that's incredible. I like that guy. He just took a stick up the ass. It's just an objectively funny sounding language.
Yeah.
Have you seen that fucking meme of the man fighting the woman where he's like undressing her?
No, I didn't see that. Damn, I don't even need to see it now.
Yeah,
yeah, it was wild.
SS Rajamoulis.
All right.
RRR.
Yeah, and on that note, I think we can do some closing statements.
Closing statements. Oh, there he is. He's being tracked.
2026 World Cup is going to be here before you know it. We hired a coach named Mauricio Pochettino. The chat should like him because he's boys with Javier Milei. He's Argentinian, but that is the crux of the problem. He's Argentinian. If you pay an Argentinian $6 million a year, there is no reason for him to give a fuck about how the United States performs. That is my final thoughts.
All right. And Jonathan?
Oh, man, that's not my name.
John.
That's not my name. They call me Stacy. That's the only part I know. Any other things? We may hope to, a week from Sunday, have a cool show for you, but I won't say anything yet. I will say Uncensored America is coming into town again. Great dudes. Hopefully we'll get Sean Semenko back on another live stream with us. But check out Uncensored America coming back to Penn State. Myron Gaines is the one coming up in a few weeks. Killer Whale, the film, is officially in pre-production. We have a casting link, studiocenter.org/killer-whale- Casting. I'll make that a little easier to access here as soon as I post the sides, but I'll post the audition sides on April 1st, pretty soon now. And then we're going to start filming in June, July, August, something like that. I am very much looking forward to it. You guys are going to be involved in some way, hopefully. But I've said this for a long, long time, years and years, that, the YouTube videos are great, but we really need somebody making something that's genuinely enjoyable to watch. So, Killer Whale, loosely based off Moby Dick, taking place in central Pennsylvania where there's no ocean. It's going to be interesting. Once we start actually filming some stuff, we'll post that content somewhere for sure. And then I will continue to keep making some regular videos here when I am able. Got kind of extremely busy now. Next week on Wednesday, I don't know that it will be live, but the Pennsylvania Freedom Caucus is coming up. 4 state reps, 2 state senators. That'll be a good time. That's all I got.
Do we know the names of the?
I have a list. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Fair.
And I have been Jack Kettner, again, proud.
You have been?
Again, proud.
What are you now?
When he sat on his grandfather's knee.
I am Jack Kettner. I am glad to have hosted another episode of the Ciderhaus, and I hope to do so again. If you like my content specifically, I recommend you check out my channel, KinoFlex.
We got to change your X-Link to KinoFlex, maybe.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, we do. But I just gave a review of the new Snow White movie. Pretty bad. Go over to my channel so you know how bad it is.
Jack actually is great at reviewing movies. I'm not even joking. So check it out. KinoFlex.
Right. And on that note, have a good night, everybody.
How's he gonna do? Where's he going?
Uh-oh.
What did you just go to? What happened?
Did he just press?
We're still. Our mics are still hot. I'm gonna start being anti.
I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it.
I press programs.
I have a Burger King hat on.
Program is right?
Yeah, you're good, but our mics are on.
Okay.